Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
The Monday installment of the Sports Cage, of course, is brought to you by sasktoday.ca, the provincial leader in all of the news that you need, agriculture information, and, of course, sports. And you can always find the latest at sportscage.com. That's also where you're going to find myself right now, alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and, of course, backgammon, Curtis. He's keeping us on the air and on the stream at sportscage.com, joining the conversation on YouTube anytime. And, of course, he can join in the conversation as well. Prairieland Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. Prairieland Rentals for anything that you might need. Of course, you can go see the crew at 600 Albert Street, deal directly with the owner, and hop on there, join in the conversation anytime. We are going to need some of your input this week when it comes to the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the game that they just dropped to the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the road this past Saturday night. Sure, wasn't exactly the performance they were looking for, but there were still a couple of highlight reel things to talk about. And we want to know what your opinion is if you were to pick a play of the week. So we're going to get to those here in just a moment. But before we do, let's talk about who's going to be joining us on the show here today. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you'll love. Special Olympics Saskatchewan just went to Medicine Hat. And, of course, just wrapped up the Summer Games. Special Olympics Canada put on an incredible event, from what I understand. So the executive director of Special Olympics Saskatchewan is going to be joining us. Rhae-Ann, really excited to hear more about what they were able to accomplish out there in Medicine Hat with all the Saskatchewan-born athletes and performances at the Summer Games. Riders Coaches Show as well. We will have Jeff Stusek joining us, someone who is a friend of the show. He's been on here many times before, and you might recognize that name as a former member of the U of R Rams coaching staff. By the way, the Canada West regular season gets underway a little bit later on this week, so we might just have to touch on that. But Jeff is now part of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Of course, he's a special teams assistant for the Green and White, so we're going to talk to him a little bit about what transpired in Hamilton over the weekend. And when you talk special teams, how do you not talk about Alex Hale? Perfect 4 for 4 on the night there, Dave. And I think that was really nice to see, especially given all of the pressure I think that maybe some of the fans have been putting him under so far this season.
Well, it's funny, and I hate to sound, I don't know how I would sound on this, but I don't think that really the fans had much impact in the outside noise on Alex Hale. And the reason I say that is I was once told very early that when you approach an athlete following a game, and in particular an athlete that has struggled, you don't need to tell them that.
They're well aware.
They're the first person to know. And, and Alex knew that he wasn't performing at the level that he wanted. Now, there's a number of reasons and excuses that you could give for why maybe that hadn't happened early in the year. Of course, we well documented the 3 new specialists in long snapper, holder, and kicker that were coming into the season. We can also go ahead and throw out the fact that the long snapper changed 2 games into the season, right? But Alex Hale showed that he's got lots of leg talent. Now, hopefully, he's put it together. Now, yes, there was competition, and Dawson Hodge brought in, and I don't think that hurts. But to suggest that Alex Hale did anything different and focused in or felt the pressure, I don't think so. I don't think that anybody put any more pressure on himself than himself. It's a professional game, and if you want to keep your job, you got to perform, and he did that. So, yes, there's a silver lining to that cloud, 4 for 4 in the performance on Saturday.
And maybe I just have a slightly different perspective on this one, Dave, because I host the call-in show with Wes Cates and Justin Dunk after every single Rider game, both home and away, and I just maybe remember back to the 2025 season when Brett Lawther was struggling a little bit as well. And I just know as soon as you have a kicker who is hitting a little bit of a rocky road, the fans come out, and that's one of the things that it's hyper-focused on.
Well, absolutely, right? And the fans should expect perfection and excellence. Yeah. That's what they pay their money for. That's what you want, right? And trust me, every athlete is in pursuit of perfection. Mm-hmm. Every athlete, everywhere, any sport, anytime. But, yeah, and you know what? Brett will be the first one to tell you not only did he struggle in 25, he struggled in 24.
And now look at him in 26.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Fully healthy, and, again, got the change of scenery. And, again, I'm not saying that the scenery caused struggles or anything, but just, again, Brett was beaten up last year. He was battling through the back
injury.
Yeah. So, and, again, not making excuses, you have to perform. And it's worked out well for Brett that he's performing now well in Ottawa after a stint on the injured list. So good for Brett. And again, to throw Alex Hale out right now, I think is a mistake. And again, we're talking about the kicker in a 7-point loss.
Yeah.
So,
and to the credit of Rider Nation, there were a number of fans who did call in post-game on Saturday night who were giving him his flowers. Well deserved. You know, he had a perfect night on the evening despite the 26-19 loss for the Riders. I mean, it is what it is, but he did his job and he stepped up to the occasion and did what he had to do. So, kudos.
Those 12 points off the board, it would have been a lot different looking game.
Mm-hmm. Would have been a very different looking game. So we'll talk a little special teams here, I think, with Jeff Stusek. Maybe talk a little Regina Rams as we get closer to the season, because they will be kicking off their season Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Preseason action Sunday.
Yeah,
yes.
Preseason action Sundays. So we get to look forward to having those Regina Rams back on the field.
Speaking of the Rams, have you seen the behind the scenes video?
They've been releasing it in series, in different parts.
The third and final one went on the weekend, I think it was.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that last one. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but it's pretty cool.
It's very well done. Absolutely. I believe it's called Behind the Horns if you're looking for it. It was released through their social media platforms. And again, it's not like, you're not taking a 90-minute portion of your day. Like, it's very good, to the point, and I think it's pretty cool.
Also, I'm just going to add this in here for everybody listening. That was not the sound of a beer can cracking open. I'm pretty sure that's just producer Curtis having a pop. A pop. A soda.
We'll talk about that after.
We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. Speaking of which, yes, plenty still more to come after Jeff Stusek. We do also have, I can't forget about this one. The Saskatoon Berries. They just clinched their first ever WCBL title, which is a pretty remarkable feat in only their third season in the league. So we're going to speak with the MVP of the WCBL, a relief pitcher, and he is originally from Texas, and maybe he'll weigh in on the soda versus pop conversation.
I'll let you guys go down that road.
Yeah. We'll do that a little bit later on. But yes, then we have the Riders Coaches Show. Then your Clutch Performer, as always. We'll catch up with Crofty, as we always do on Monday afternoon. Darian Durant always joins us shortly after 5 o'clock on Mondays as well to dissect everything that happened the previous week in the CFL. And boy, do we ever have lots to talk about. Not only with the Riders and Hamilton, but also we got to talk about Calgary and, some scary situations there. We really hope that everyone's healthy, especially in Vernon Adams Jr. and Dedrick Mills and, everything that transpired in that game. Ottawa, dropping another one, 0-9 after that loss to Winnipeg. So I'm curious, what's the tipping point? Have we reached it? Are we far beyond it? I don't even know.
Team president Adrian Sara was let go today in Ottawa after the 0-9 start.
And the heads continue to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you're looking for change. You've got the longest winless streak in CFL
15?
History.
Is it 15 now?
I don't know that I appreciate the fact that Ottawa has become the butt of jokes, because there's there's a lot of good athletes there.
Oh, absolutely. We just talked about Brett Lawther.
Yeah, they just, for some
CJ Rivas,
reason,
AJ Allen. There's a lot of former Saskatchewan Roughrider players who just came off a Grey Cup victory in 2025.
And I don't know. And I'm curious. Again, text line on our YouTube chat, whatever you want to do. But I really don't think you blame Jake Mayer for this.
No. No. It's not like he's putting up egregious, awful numbers or anything. He's a solid QB.
The one thing that I'm really curious about is sometimes you get blinders on in coaching and whatnot. And again, I'm talking from being a coach, where sometimes you don't.
I thought you were going to say talking
happening
from being on the couch.
No,
that's just my perspective.
That's where some of my best perspectives is on the couch. But as a coach, sometimes you are so steadfast in your views and your opinion that you fail to have an open agenda, open eye, if you will, right? So, for example, Ottawa Red Blacks, they've been desperately trying to become two-dimensional and get Greg Bell going running the football. It hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Right? And so you point to the offensive line, you point to the scheme, you point to the game situation. Why is this guy who's proven that he can do it in the league not doing it? Mm-hmm. His backup, Daniel Adebaboye, who's a Canadian, and sometimes there's a bias against Canadian running backs. Sorry, Brady Oliveira. But sometimes there is if you're not named Brady Oliveira. But Daniel Adebaboye, I think, could probably start on a lot of teams. And his average was well in advance of Greg Bell. Like he was running the ball over 5 yards per carry. And so I just don't know why. Was it game circumstance? And maybe that's where I don't know the answer. But I'm just saying, why not give the kid a chance to see if he can ignite your running game? Like, he touches the ball and things happen.
At this point, you might as well give it a shot. Bulls fan 2K7 says on the YouTube stream here, Prairie Land Rentals text line is open as well, by the way. I feel like Ottawa is going to find a way to turn it around and play spoiler to a team trying to make the playoffs. I would love to see a little bit of a redemption arc for Ottawa at this point, because to your point, Dave, they've kind of become the butt of the joke, and you never like to see that in the CFL, especially as we enter into the 2027 season where only one team misses the playoffs. It's no fun if you get to 3/4 of the way through the season and you have a winless squad. You know what the playoff picture already looks like, and that's not going to be driving people into the stands as much, at least.
No, you're right. And what fascinates me, and I kind of agree with that, I think that Ottawa's got a perfect opportunity to play spoiler. And I'm not talking for a team in the East. I'm talking for a team in the West. Mm-hmm. Because guaranteed every year that a team in the West is not going to make the playoffs. There's an opportunity for a fourth team in the West to make the playoffs through the crossover, which...
The last year of that.
That's right. And...
I mean, I would like to see them play more than just spoiler at this point. Again, I love that redemption arc of them coming back and winning a bunch of games. Do I realistically think that's going to happen? No. But crazier things have happened in a 9-team league.
You're dreaming. Okay, fair. But I'm just saying. I think you're right. I think you're right that they are going to play spoiler against some teams that maybe overlooked them a touch. Yeah. And if I'm to be perfectly honest, when they play Montreal this week, that game has me intrigued. Because Ottawa's got absolutely nothing to lose. Montreal is sitting pretty in the East right now. So, I'm just saying.
Montreal is a scary team.
Yep.
What is that, week 18 or 17-18 that Saskatchewan plays them in a home and home?
Well, yeah, it's Thanksgiving and then the week after.
Yeah.
And here is the absolute worst thing. Worst thing if I'm a CFL scheduler right now, and this was pointed out to me. This is not a unique Dave Thomas comment. This was pointed out to me by the Hamilton crew. What happens if those games are inconsequential? Like the Grey Cup rematch that everybody would want to build up and see happen on Thanksgiving may not mean a lot to the Alouettes. Now, I'm not suggesting that they would rest players down the stretch, but the Riders propelled themselves to a Grey Cup victory last year by resting players down the stretch when they needed it most. And so,
yeah, I do remember Trevor Harris getting pulled late in that final regular season game, and he was mad.
Well, yeah, and then they sat him, right?
They sat him. Right? He wanted to stay in the game, but I totally see where you're coming from.
I'm just saying those games could have very little meaning for Montreal. So if I'm them, what does a Grey Cup rematch mean to me? Nothing. Mm-hmm. I want to win the Grey Cup this year.
And to your point, the final regular season game in the league, not just for Saskatchewan, is against the Elk. Now, what happens if that game also means nothing?
But right now it's trending that it could mean something. Now, I know that there's some in Rider Nation that don't have that feeling because there's a lot of negative Nellies right now. And yes, I said negative Nellies. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people that are pretty concerned after this loss in Hamilton. And I would suggest that Hamilton really played the Riders tough the last time these two teams played.
Yeah.
And it was... The turning point was that Hamilton got quarterback play in the second half. I know that Hamilton's still saying, Harrison Frost, he was hurt. That's why he went out. Can't find the hurt. You can't find the play where he got injured anywhere right now. But
so is that really what it was?
I don't know. Scott Milanovich swears it was an injury that got him out of the game in for Trey Ford. And who am I to argue with the head coach? tell it like it is, and that's what he's saying, that it wasn't because of poor performance. But he said that Trey Ford came in, had one of the best prep weeks that he's had in Hamilton, and it showed on the field.
Also, Hamilton's defense, I mean, they shut out the Riders in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And if you look at a few of those plays, like the Carrick Wheatfall in reception to the back of the end zone was a special play. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not going to happen every day, and Trey Ford got absolutely walloped. Antoine Brooks Jr. leaned into him something fierce. And then there was the other play that has been pointed out to me a number of times on Coffee Row, is the fact that Carrick Wheatfall was then again wide open in the end zone in the fourth quarter, and Ford missed him. And yeah, what you can see on that play is you can see the defensive backs absolutely stopping their feet, because there was so much, I think, thought at that point that Hamilton was going to run the ball. So the Riders were respecting the run. They stopped their feet. The passing game goes over their heads. So again, I think that there was so much focus on stopping the run on that play and maybe some others that it got receivers open. And that's what happens with a mobile quarterback. And Trey Ford brought that. And you got to tip your hat. And again, Hamilton's defense, the only team that has gone ahead and limited the Saskatchewan Roughriders to points this year and passing yards. And they did it again this weekend. So again, kudos. That's a good defense that Hamilton has. They've just been on the field way too long in the absence of Bo Levi Mitchell.
Saskatchewan then pivots and looks at a team that's been on a little bit of a surge this upcoming weekend. Sunday in British Columbia, taking on the Lions and Nathan Rourke, who has been looking a lot better. I mean, the whole BC club has been looking better as of late, so that could be a big one for the Riders.
I don't think BC has been firing on all cylinders yet.
Not all cylinders, but they have certainly seen some improvement in the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
This is not a team that you sleep on at this point.
I think two factors you got to think when BC, number one, right? So their opening game of the season was here at Mosaic Stadium. Mm-hmm. And they lost, 3 of their receivers and the returner in that game.
Yeah.
So you lose, and again, we know what the Riders are doing right now with 3 of their, or a couple of their big receivers out. Same instance for BC, but they also lost their quarterback to compound that.
Yeah.
And so now we'll see whether or not they can get on the same page. I don't know that they were firing and, like I say, connecting on all cylinders against a good Calgary team in Calgary last week. We'll find out what they do against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I'm curious to see the Riders aren't going to sit there, lick their wounds, and feel sorry for themselves. Oh, boy, we don't have AJ
That
Ouellette
is not a head coach Corey Mace kind of team.
No. And so I expect, and I think that the Rider Nation can say the word expect, that there is going to be improvement, because the team just didn't perform well last week. Plain and simple. They got outplayed by Hamilton and they lost. And again,
the secondary was having some issues. Trevor Harris did not look like himself.
Yeah, I think that Hamilton's pass defense is good.
Yeah, it's
really good. And so, again, trying to navigate what was being thrown at him. Brent Monson is a great defensive coordinator. No matter what the Dickinsons will tell you in Calgary, he was fantastic. And so, again, lots of respect on that side of the ball. You have to go ahead and say, they were good. They were better than us that day. And now it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the Riders can turn it around. If you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, you'll see the interception that Trevor Harris threw. Again, a little high on Del Duncan Busby, and it's one of those things when you're a receiver, you're trying to make a play by batting the ball, and usually when you do bat the ball, it lands in the hands of the opposition. So that was tough there. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens with Star Thomas. Of course, he made his first CFL debut over the weekend, so see how he graded out and what it looked like. Again, he's got skills and he's got talent to catch the ball.
And let's be realistic. We were just talking about the kicking situation with Alex Hale and nobody understanding how their struggles are perceived more than the player themselves. So you better believe Trevor Harris, I don't even think they practiced today, but he's probably already wanting to go back and correct all of the issues that he made. So this is going to be a hungry team for a win against a team they opened up the season against, to your point. And again, Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions aren't any slouches.
No. And this game is pretty big for BC. Now, I'm not saying it's not big for Saskatchewan. That loss really brings the Riders back to the pack right now, but a BC victory, and again, they're right in the conversation now. All of a sudden, Winnipeg's looking like, whoa, what do we got coming up behind us? You've got the same thing happening with Calgary right now. It's
It's tight in the West. It's tight.
Every game is going to be, it's a dogfight all the way down, and it's hard to believe we're now in the second half of the season.
But let's also keep that in mind for Saskatchewan Roughrider fans, right? I mean, the team is 6-3. The Riders are 6-3 at the midway point of the season. That's not a terrible record.
No, it's not.
The sky is not falling.
The sky is cloudy right now. I wouldn't suggest it's falling. But it is cloudy in downtown Regina right now. But
it is.
Again, I think that there are silver linings and that you've got a team that is going to get a little bit healthier, I would suggest, next week with James Letcher Jr. and Ollie Sod available to come off the 6-game injured list. You've got a receiving core that has spent another week together. They didn't get the result they wanted, but they've got a lot of video that they can pour over. Mm-hmm. Before the team even left the field, the quarterbacks and receivers were looking at the iPads already, looking at the film. So
you also got to pull the positives out of the loss. I mean, again, we talked about Alex Hale. We also need to mention here Johnny Johnson III getting his first ever career CFL touchdown with the Riders. That's pretty exciting. So you got to give credit where credit is due there. And nice little slide into the end zone there for him.
Well, and I was surprised. He got up real quick.
Just before the end zone.
I was sure that he was going to be ruled down by the officials on that play, but hey, it worked out for the Riders. And
Did he play baseball?
I don't know, but it looked pretty good. The one thing, the other point that's going to be fun to watch this week is Josh Woods returning to BC. I am absolutely sure that he is going to be asked nonstop every single day this week about going back and playing in BC. I know he's excited for it, right? Like, he wants to go back. And as Darian Durant will tell you, players will have chips on their shoulders. They want to prove that they were done wrong by being released or not re-signed. Mm-hmm. But boy, is he having a great year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he made the third down stop on Trey Ford when I really thought that was going to be lights out for Hamilton. When the Ticats gambled on 3rd and long in the third quarter and didn't get it thanks to Josh Woods coming up and making a play on Trey Ford, I thought, all right, turn out the lights. We're going home with a win. Credit to Hamilton for coming back, but Josh Woods has been absolutely fantastic as I think as advertised and beyond since signing with the Riders.
It's going to be fun to see what he brings to BC this Sunday. Another thing that I think we need to talk to Darian Durant about, and we talked about it on the pregame show heading into the game this past weekend, but Nathan's brother, Curtis Rourke, looking pretty good in San Francisco 49ers training camp. Now, I know he did leave the preseason game he was a little bit nicked up. It sounded like he went to go get his ribs checked out there, so he did leave the game early. But lots of people impressed by his game initially, and then another name familiar with Saskatchewan Roughrider fans would be Dante Myers, who became a free agent in February. The Riders released him to pursue his NFL opportunities with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's getting shout-outs from all kinds of players, star receivers. Joe Burrow himself drives up from Atlanta to go catch balls and run routes from, Joe Burrow. I think he's going to have a lot of fun down south, even if it's just on the PR. We'll see.
When your quarterback likes who you are, what you're doing, and doesn't play in a preseason game but singles you out as having a good game, he kind of has the ear of the coaches. So I think that's a solid sign for Dante Myers. As far as Curtis Rourke goes, again, I don't know what the injury and how substantial it was and what that's going to affect him moving forward. But again,
I don't think there's been any updates, but I am just going to double check that right now.
As Luke Mullender said,
he practiced on Saturday.
So there you go. That's good news for Curtis. And as Luke said, and I want to echo Luke's thoughts when he says he hopes he never sees Dante Myers again.
Which sounds a little clickbaity.
But again, right? He's just saying is that I hope he makes it in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's Dante Myers' dream. That's Curtis Rourke's dream. I hope that they make it in the NFL. If not, the doors are open in Saskatchewan. If you want to come back and explore, we'll see. But until now, live your dream. Do what you got to do.
I like that a lot. Couple of names to watch for sure. Usually NFL preseason is not that exciting. Let's be realistic here. But when you have names like that you recognize as a Saskatchewan Roughrider fan, it makes it that much more intriguing. And then you talk about young and upcoming players. A little bit later on today, 5:30 this afternoon, Maddox Schultz of the Regina Pats. He's a forward. Obviously, you know that name if you've watched the Pats C's or if you've watched the Regina Pats the past couple of seasons. Heck, if you've just been watching entertaining hockey players in Canada in the junior systems, you know who Maddox Schultz is. He's going to be talking about the upcoming WHL season and his time at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, where him and Liam Pugh showed up They had a very good tournament. So that's going to be coming up around 5:30. We do got to take a quick break here right away, but join in the conversation anytime. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. The number 306-936-6262. Still to come, we will be talking a little bit about SaskTel Pick the Score. We're going to play that this afternoon. Oh, and just so many more things. We could sit here and talk Riders all day, but we have a whole bunch more to get to here. So let's take a quick break, and we will be right back with the Special Olympics Executive Director, Rhae-Ann Holoien, and she's going to talk about the performance from Saskatchewan-born athletes at the Summer Games. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Remember when you were out there having some tomfoolery, riding in the back of Grandpa's pickup truck with your friends with no padding or seat belts? What isn't tomfoolery is where you get your tires. Go to your local Cooper tire dealer. They carry Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires. They have a durable tread that helps resist cutting, cracking, and tearing that occurs on rough trails. Have your vehicle ready for the road before you are. Visit your local Cooper tire dealer and ask for Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires.
Play of the game? Touchdown! More like the game to play. The new Saskatchewan Roughriders Scratch and Win ticket. It's your chance to win 10 years of Rider season tickets, a premium suite for the home opener and the Labor Day Classic, and tons of Rider swag. Plus, 2 chances to win $75,000. Tickets available at your favorite lottery retailers. Proudly brought to you by Sask Lotteries, supporting sport, culture, and recreation across the province. Please play responsibly.
The world is changing. From the misuse of AI and the rise of deepfakes to the dangerous spread of misinformation, it's getting harder for Canadians to separate fact from fiction. That's why having a trustworthy news source is vital. At Global News, we're committed to objective journalism that cuts through the noise. Stick to the facts. Global News, Canada's trusted news.
Welcome back to Sports Cage. Missed any part of the show? Check out the podcast powered by Freeze Tolman at 620ckrm.com and sportscage.com.
Welcome back. Monday installment of the Sports Cage is brought to you by Sask Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. Visit Sask Today, which is Saskatchewan's leading online news, ag, and sports portal. It's like a newspaper from the old days, but you don't have to worry about all that black ink on your hands. And of course, right now, you're also invited to play along with SaskTel Pick the Score. So you get an opportunity every game in general, I should say, to predict the score, and you have a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card as well as tickets to the next Saskatchewan Roughrider home game. So all you need to do is text in your name, your actual name, not just your name, your actual name and your score prediction to 306-936-6262 as we head into this weekend's game, Saskatchewan in BC. Kickoff is just after 5 o'clock on Sunday. So what do you think the final score will be? Let us know that, and then you have an opportunity to win. We will make that draw a little bit later on, okay? So 306-936-6262 is the number to text. In the meantime here, as you get those predictions into us, it is time to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and say hello to Special Olympics Saskatchewan Executive Director Rhae-Ann Holoien. How are you, Rhae-Ann?
I am great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know that you certainly had a busy week last week, so we appreciate you taking the time. I mean, man, based on the reporting that we've seen out in Medicine Hat, geez, 5th overall here in Saskatchewan, 57 medals, 22 of those bad boys were gold. That's got to be pretty exciting to sit back and watch, Rhae-Ann.
That was very exciting to sit back and watch, and that is an old stat. We had 64 medals, 25 gold, 19 silver, and 20 bronze. Our athletes did incredible. competitions continued on all weekend.
Wow, that's impressive. Over 60 medals at the games. So what do you think that was a result of? Obviously hard work, but was it a mix of athlete development, inclusion, or kind of what was the bigger picture as, Team Sask was preparing for these games?
So absolutely everything that you said, that determination, the hard work, they really prepared for a national level game. Our volunteers, our coaches, they are top notch. So we couldn't do any of this without them, but our athletes went in prepared from nutrition to, that good sleep, rest, everything. And it's a tough week for athletes, and they were prepared and they did very, very well. So it was a very impressive week. Lots of highlights to talk about.
Yeah.
You alluded to the team behind the team, and how impressive is that? Everybody coming together. I know the volunteer hours are incredible just to make sure that not only the athletes can compete at their highest level, but also compete and achieve personal goals and milestones along the way.
Absolutely. We are an organization. Our athletes thrive because of the volunteers that are behind them. Not only all the ones that went to the national games, but all the volunteers that are within the communities working with them week in, week out, all throughout the year. So it is the important factor of our organization, and a big, huge thank you to everyone, because those medals are a result of all the work that happened all throughout the year.
Now, Rhae-Ann, you mentioned that there are plenty of highlights that we can go through, including a hole-in-one that I know went absolutely viral on X, and more than 1,000 athletes performing here. So if you could just pick off maybe a couple of those highlights, please let us know.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, the hole-in-one, absolutely incredible to happen at a national competition. Our athlete that got the hole-in-one also had a gold coming out of the national game, so very impressive with that. We had another gold medal in golf as well, so congratulations to Brandon. We had another bronze medal in golf. We had a gold in bocce. Tanner from Prince Albert, that gold. His highlight, though, wasn't necessarily the gold. It was his opportunity to interview the Governor General of Canada at the game. So that was another highlight. Annalise Brown from Saskatoon, 4 powerlifting gold medals. How incredible is that? Braden McNeil, this was his 4th national competition. So again, a great highlight. Then our basketball team gold, our soccer team gold. There were so many highlights throughout the week. Our team's doing so well. Persevering. We started the week with terrible weather. So congratulations to all our athletics athletes who persevered and did well coming out. Our, the soccer, the softball athletes that did so well. It was a week of great highlights. Not to mention, this was my first game. So when I sat down at the opening ceremonies and listened to the speeches and the people welcoming our athletes, and then seeing the law enforcement torch run come in and carry that flame of hope and light that flame, they came down through the roof. It was a great performance. But the fact that there's law enforcement torch run members from all over Canada, and a huge thank you to Jason Dare from Saskatoon, who was Saskatchewan's representative, to light that flame. It was very moving.
So many different things to take away. Obviously the athletes have a different experience, the volunteers, the coaches have a different experience. What did your experience sound, feel, and look like?
Oh my goodness. My experience watching our athletes who every competition they were in, whether it was bocce, whether it was rhythmic gymnastics, the golf, the soccer, everybody came to the field, to their event, 100% prepared at a national level. Our athletes competed very hard and very well. So they might not each of the athletes came away with a medal, but they competed to the best of their ability. It was phenomenal. The volunteerism was so impressive throughout the week, from the people in Medicine Hat welcoming us to all the officials. everyone that it takes to host not just one event, but all of those events throughout the week. And like I said, the weather started off terrible. So you had, officials in many different sports outside in the rain and 12, 13 degree weather. And it was phenomenal to see. Nobody complained. Everybody competed. There were so many smiles and laughter throughout the week. So that was really my takeaway. Like, everybody was excited and enthused to be there, and every athlete competed hard.
More than 60 medals making their way back here to Saskatchewan for these athletes, which is absolutely incredible. But beyond the medal count, beyond those accomplishments, which should not be discounted in any way, shape, or form, what does this mean for Special Olympics Saskatchewan in moving forward and propelling the sport here in this province, and maybe even garnering, more attention and more athletes to come participate?
Hopefully it does just that. Hopefully our athletes go back to their communities. They get to share their experiences. Hopefully then it brings out other athletes for the next competition, the next games, or it brings out athletes for community competition as well. There are over 1,400 athletes, Special Olympics athletes across the province. 62 of them went to national games. So there's a lot of volunteerism that happens back at the each community. And we want more athletes. We want more volunteers. We want to provide these opportunities. So hopefully these big events bring out more people within the communities as well to participate. Being active in lifelong sports, being healthy, there's so many benefits of that. And we just want to keep on supporting our athletes in all of the communities. It also brings about that awareness. We talked about before other sports organizations who support our athletes. So when we talk about Tanner in Prince Albert, he announces for the PA Raiders, which is phenomenal. So there's a partnership there, but there's a partnership with the Saskatoon Blades, with the Regina Pats, with the Moose Jaw Warriors, with our Saskatchewan Roughriders. We wouldn't be Special Olympics Saskatchewan without George Reed, who it's really his idea of inclusion, which really propelled Special Olympics forward. So more awareness is absolutely important. Which brings about, we really don't get to where we're going without all the sponsorship and support that we had to, get there. So we thank everyone involved and who supported Special Olympics Saskatchewan.
Shout out to the athletes from the pool, by the way, but as being a person that formerly took part in the law enforcement torch run, I was very pleased and honored to do that, but there's different ways that people can get involved. How can we do that?
Well, law enforcement torch run in the different communities partner with us to raise money. There's lots of ways to get involved. You can volunteer and coach bowling or bocce or athletics within your own community. We did some triad events for flag football. So that if there's any football players out there that would like to support our athletes, there's so many opportunities within different communities. Our one-time events as well. Polar plunge comes up in the winter in each year. If somebody's brave enough to take the plunge and support us by raising money that way. We also each year have an annual 50-50 provincial lottery. So people can buy tickets because all the money there goes to supporting our athletes to do the different events that they do.
We really appreciate you taking the time. I know that you probably have a lot of sleep to catch up on here. So thanks for doing this so much, and appreciate the plug so that we can support Special Olympics in any way that we can. Executive Director Rhae-Ann, Holoien, thank you very much for doing this again.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and congratulations again to all of our athletes, and thank you to all of our volunteers.
Absolutely. Special Olympics Saskatchewan Executive Director. Really appreciate Rhae-Ann's time here. We are going to take a quick break, and we will get back with even more information. Lots still to come, including a conversation with the WCBL MVP Wesley Shackelford. Saskatoon Berries are WCBL champs for the first time in franchise history. We hear from him next. This is the Sports Cage, and it's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
Have you seen the patio at Pump Jack's Cathedral?
Seen it? I've practically moved in.
Do they at least charge you rent?
Only if I stop ordering food.
I don't blame you. Great food, daily food and drink specials.
30 beers on tap, including local favorites.
And there's no better place to catch the game with friends.
So what are we waiting for?
I'm waiting for this conversation to be over. Let's go.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Hello, Clarice.
It's Brittany.
Have the lambs stopped screaming?
Those aren't lambs, that's my garage door. I don't know why it's making that sound.
I hope you called Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
I did, and?
Brittany? Paul from Busy Bee. What's with the old guy on the dolly?
Ugh, ignore him.
I do wish we could chat longer, but...
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
WCBL MVP Wesley Shackelford is joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. The Saskatoon Berries are WCBL champions for the first time in franchise history, capping off an incredible playoff run with an 11-1 win over Sylvan Lake in the championship final. One of the pieces of this team, of course, MVP Wesley Shackelford. You were dominant on the mound when the Berries needed you most. First of all, congratulations on what was an incredible season, Wesley.
Thank you. It was an honor. It was a fun ride. Great game to play for the city of Saskatoon. Just seeing everybody show up every night, and to win a championship just for the city and all the fans, it felt awesome.
Well, now that you've had a little bit of time to let it sink in here, Wesley, I mean, you got to look back and think, man, this was a dominant championship series, allowing just 2 runs over 2 games. What was clicking so well for the pitching staff when the pressure was at its highest?
Yeah, I think our pitching staff just all season, when the pressure rose, none of us ever folded. I think that just speaks to the depth we had and just the raw talent that the pitching staff had. We knew we had a great defense behind us, and all we had to do was fill up the zone, and our stuff would play. And when you got guys behind us that can make plays like Brock Laird and Ethan Murdoch, I mean, it was awesome to see what the pitching staff could do, especially in the championship series, just allowing 2 runs.
Wesley, it's all about getting hot and being ready to roll at the right time in the WCBL. You were either at or near the top of the division all season long. Then into the playoffs, you defeat the defending champion Regina Red Sox. You were able to get by Moose Jaw, who you battled hard with all year long, and then you get to the final. What made your team or allowed you guys to get on that roll at the end, and did you feel it?
Yeah, I think kind of towards the end of the season there was a stretch of games where we kind of fell into a bit of a slump, and just for the guys that it would be their last time playing baseball, we all came together, kind of built our chemistry and created a bond that was really strong, and just knowing playing for the guy next to us, it just really helped us to get hot, especially in that Regina and Moose Jaw series. I think the Regina series, that was one of the hardest fought series I've ever played in my life, and that obviously carried over to when we went to Moose Jaw and took it in 2 games. And just us getting hot, that was just a product of our chemistry and just the bond that we had off the field.
So, Wesley, the Saskatoon Berries have only been around for 3 seasons in the WCBL, now champions for the first time ever in franchise history. How special is it for you to be a part of that group and etching your name into history?
Oh, it feels awesome. I didn't know really anything about the Berries before coming up here. Nothing about Saskatoon, but just seeing and hearing from people around the city how much they love coming to Berries games and they support the team. It really just showed how much the Berries mean to the city, and us as players, we play a small role in that, and we knew the least we could do was get them a championship, and just being the first one in Berries history. Hopefully there's more to come here in the future.
You're a native of Belleville, Texas. You get a call from someone that says, hey, how about not only coming to Canada, but Saskatoon, where you're going to be a Berry? What was your reaction to getting that phone call?
Yeah, that was definitely I was kind of shocked at first, thinking about I've never been to Canada before this summer. So whenever I got that call, first from Joe, just telling me about the team in Saskatoon and telling me how much the city just loves the Berries, and how we were going to try to build a championship roster this year. I mean, I felt like there was no better place for me to be this summer to come and try to develop, and just to win a championship with the Berries is awesome.
Wesley, you talked a little bit there about the city of Saskatoon and how much they really get behind this team. They show up, they show out. There was more than 2,500 people at Cairns Field for that game this weekend. As a pitcher, how much do you actually feed off of that atmosphere and that crowd energy when you're on the mound?
Just seeing all those people, especially sitting in the bullpen, and you see the people standing up on benches. I remember the game 3 against Regina. I had a strikeout in the 8th inning, and that was one of the loudest crowd pops I've heard in a long time. And seeing everybody go crazy, that was awesome. And then we got the final out to beat Regina, and whole stadium was packed. Everybody's cheering. I mean, it definitely helps when you're a pitcher, just feeding off the electricity that's in the building, for sure.
You're a member of the Odessa College Wranglers of the, the NJAAC? Or no, I don't know my ABCs. That's the problem here, Wesley. I'm not going to lie to you, but you play some real good ball down south. How has that prepared you for this? Because like Teagan was saying, you were lights out in the postseason, and that's got to take a special type of athlete to have that mental fortitude to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think Odessa really helped me develop. Just going there, and I was talking with my pitching coach the other day, and he was talking about how much I've grown just throughout my time as a freshman there. Especially my first ever college pitch in game, I got a home run hit off of me, so there was everywhere to go, but only way to go from there was up. So I think just having something like that, having the people from Odessa just behind me and just developing me, mentoring me, it's crucial.
Being named the WCBL MVP, though, that's got to be some pretty special recognition for you, especially knowing, it came during a championship season. So maybe speak to that a little bit for us.
Yeah, winning MVP, that was just a total team effort. I mean, we had so many guys that could have won that award. Guys from our bullpen, Zach Landreville was awesome as a starting pitcher. Brock Laird hit like 500. Nick Stinson hit like 500. There are so many guys that come to mind just that could have won that award. And, I mean, I knew I might be in the running for it, but it was a total team effort just to get to that point. Kind of like I talked about last night, we had, I play no role if our offense doesn't score any runs and if our starting pitching doesn't keep them to 2 or 3 runs through 6 or 7 innings every game. So, I mean, it's just a byproduct of our total team effort.
So what would you tell friends, family, teammates, fellow athletes about the Western Canadian Baseball League and your experience in Saskatoon? If somebody said, hey, I'm thinking of trying this, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them go do it. I mean, this is some of the most fun I've had playing baseball in a long time. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know too much about the WCBL or Saskatoon or anything. But, I mean, I was kind of hesitant at first about coming up here. And my coach over at Odessa, he's like, come on, it's just one summer, man. You're going up there for half the year. Just enjoy it. It's going to be some good weather up there. So I just tell them to try it out. You can always come back, but I say for sure try it out. It's a ball. Everybody has a great time. Everybody loves each other around here. And when you got a great city like Saskatoon supporting you, I mean, it's a wild ride for sure.
Any takeaways from Saskatchewan? Like we always talk about, the term bunny hug and stuff like that. Anything that you're still scratching your head at? Oh,
I think the thing I still scratch my head about the most is hearing people say pop. That thing, I'm not too sure. We have the Canadian teammates. They'd be like, we got any pop here? Come on, man. Just call it soda, dude.
Wesley, we really do appreciate you taking the time after what was an incredible weekend for you and the rest of the Saskatoon Berries squad, but you just won a championship. We got to ask finally here, what was that celebration like after the final out? What was running through your mind, Wesley?
I mean, I was mainly just thinking about the guys who it was their last game, and for them to be able to hoist up that trophy, a guy like Ethan Murdoch comes to mind. Just so many guys who I know poured so much into the game of baseball, and especially guys like that being from Canada that have played in this league for so long, to go out like that with the championship, it's definitely a surreal feeling. So much going through my mind running out on the field there when that third strike got called, and just celebrating with everybody. That was an experience I'll never forget for sure.
I was sure you were going to say I was looking forward to having a couple of pops with the guys. I was sure of it.
WCBL MVP Wesley Shackelford, of course, forever etched in Saskatoon Berry history as a WCBL champion. Congratulations. Really glad to hear that you enjoyed your time up in the Bridge City, and we hope to talk to you again soon, Wesley.
Thank you all for having me on. It was a blast up here in Saskatoon this summer.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Kind of a quiet night here in Saskatchewan in terms of sporting events, but it is worth noting Canada off to the Olympics in flag football. Both the men's and women's team have qualified for LA 2028 during the World Championships in Germany. The women going one step further and winning gold over the United States. The Canadian men also secured their Olympic spot with a 34-26 win over Mexico. And that is technically local. Shout out Joel Lipinski from up in Saskatoon, because he was the defensive coordinator for the men's side. We're Major League Baseball. Let me see here. The Jays are off tonight after a 17-game and 17-day grind. Got 12 wins in that stretch, if my math is correct. They're one game back from a wild card spot, and they actually get the night to kick back and relax a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about this a bit later on, but they definitely have their draft order selected now. That a little pitching duel yesterday to figure out who's going to be selecting first in their fantasy football draft. 10 other games on the MLB slate tonight. WNBA, you got Dallas at Golden State at 8 p.m. We're going to take a quick break. We got your news coming up, and then the Riders Coaches Show. Hang tight. This is the Sportscage. It's on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street, rmpchevrolet.com.
For generations, Saskatchewan farmers have counted on local partners they can trust. That's why producers turn to O&T Farms, a stable, family-run operation serving Saskatchewan since the 1960s. It's never too early to start planning for next year. No matter the market, you know you have a guaranteed local buyer 365 days a year. Partnering with Elite provides stability for your operation. Join their value team of growers for 2027 so you can be assured you have a trusted local partner for your crops. O&T Farms, a buyer you can count on.
Oh, hey, Cow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, Cow.
Hey, dude.
Cow, have you been out in the sun too long again?
No way, dude. Just chilling and vibing in my new shoes from Cowtown.
Ah, I see you're wearing a pair of Hey Dudes.
That's what I said. Hey, dude.
Everyone's wearing these shoes. Easy to slip on, comfortable, and they're the lightest shoe ever made on planet Earth.
As someone who weighs a metric ton, I can appreciate that. That's a lot of weight on these four knees.
And they look great for guys and gals. The reviews are off the charts. So many styles, colors. They're just a good-looking shoe.
And it's fun to say, hey, dude, check out my Hey Dudes, dude. See? Totally fun, dude.
In town, out of town, for all your Western wear, it's gotta be Cowtown. Shirts and hats, boots and belts, over 7,000 pairs of jeans, and a great selection of Hey Dude shoes. Cowtown Canada on Facebook.
You know, dude, these Hey Dude shoes are pretty rockin', dude.
Yeah, straight guy, it's only cool when I say it.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting from Regina, around the world at 620CKRM.com.
News is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. Call 781-2090.
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon. Mostly cloudy and 22 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Manzik from the Sask Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. New U.S. tariffs are expected to come into effect on Wednesday. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he expects to speak with U.S. President Donald Trump ahead of the deadline. Carney says that he's sure that the new Churchill Falls Agreement will be the first thing he'll talk about with Trump.
The way this is being conducted is the type of generational investment that gets everyone's attention, even the President of the United States.
Carney added that the negotiations with the U.S. are very intense and delicate, and said he would not discuss the talks in public. New WestJet flight destinations are being announced across the country, including right here in Regina. For the first time ever, the airline will offer direct flights to Los Cabos, Mexico. President and CEO of Regina's airport, James Bogus, says this flight will be offered throughout the winter.
So this is a new location in Mexico for YQR. Starts December 14th. It's going to operate weekly until the end of March.
Regina did lose its weekly flight to Las Vegas for the upcoming winter, though. Moose Jaw RCMP are investigating a fatal multi-vehicle collision at the intersection of highways 39 and 339. Mounties say a truck and semi collided. The driver of the truck, a 25-year-old man, was the sole occupant of the vehicle and was taken to hospital where he would later die. The driver of the semi did not report any injuries to police. Mounties and a collision reconstructionist continue to investigate. Shredick Samuel will stand at trial in Regina Court of King's Bench on a first-degree murder charge in the death of Roman Miller. Samuel appeared in provincial court on August 13th, where Crown and defense lawyers agreed to commit the case to trial. Police allege Miller was fatally shot in Regina's Center Square neighborhood in July 2023. Samuel turned himself in to RCMP in British Columbia in February 2024 and was returned to Saskatchewan. Renovations at Swift Current's Comprehensive High School are moving forward. The renovation was approved in March 2024, and it will be completed in stages. Planned work includes replacing heating, ventilation, and electrical systems, along with safety upgrades, fire protection, and asbestos removal. The province says the construction manager model is designed to reduce disruptions for students and staff. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
When summer heat hits, there's nothing worse than an air conditioner that can't keep up. Stay cool, comfortable, and ready for those hot Saskatchewan days with a new Bryant air conditioner from Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Bryant systems are built for reliable performance, energy efficiency, and lasting comfort, so you can keep your home cool all summer long. Call Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today for more information or visit broncoplumbing.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Weather for next-gen coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. Mostly sunshine today with some isolated showers, a real possibility. High of 20 degrees. Tonight, we're going to see some more cloud roll in and drop to +8. Tomorrow, mostly sunshine, high of 21. For Wednesday, high of 26 with some sunshine and a little bit of a breeze. Thursday, partly sunny, high 25. And then Friday, sunshine and a high of 24.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
You know, we were just having a conversation with the WCBL MVP, Saskatoon Berry, Wesley Shackelford, and he was mentioning to us the whole pop versus soda conversation that we have between us, you know, Canadians and Americans.
Yeah.
Ed joining in on the conversation on the YouTube chat. Older folks would always call it, quote, tonic when I was growing up. It has always been soda for me. The debate continues. Tonic. Isn't that just carbonated water?
If you have a gin and tonic, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just carbonated water?
I don't know why I went straight to gin and tonic. That's probably bad, right? Just saying.
It's fine. I'm not here to judge. Whatever.
Appreciate that.
I'm Teagan Witko, joined alongside your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and now we know that he drinks gin, Mr. Dave Thomas. Backgammon, Curtis Gammon, he is keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, on the stream as well. You can join in the conversation there, or by texting us anytime. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Monday's show is brought to you by the Sportscage, and you know what? Our Western Pizza guest hotline, of course, brought to you by Western Pizza. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you love. Still plenty on the way this hour. Your clutch performer straight ahead. Darian Durant is going to join us on the other side of 5 o'clock and dissect Week 11 in the CFL. Maddox Schultz will be joining us around 5:30 as well. But first, we got to get into it. Let's go, Curtis. Riders Coaches Show.
It's time for the Sportscage Riders Coaches Show. For Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, and servicing all of Saskatchewan.
Well, he was a member of the U of R Rams coaching staff, now current member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders coaching staff, Assistant Special Teams Coach Jeff Stusek. Jeff, thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know that you guys just got back from Hamilton, and that's, of course, where we would like to start our conversation here today. Maybe not exactly the result the Riders wanted here, but when you're looking specifically at special teams, Jeff, I mean, you're talking about complementary football in your role. When the offense or defense isn't quite getting the job done late, what kind of pressure does that put on special teams trying to pull out that win?
I don't think it puts undue pressure on us. I think our job is just to do our job, quite simply. And we had a particular plan going into the Hamilton game, focused on really limiting their return game. Our cover teams played really well. You can't do more than what you sort of are planning to do. If the offense or defense is struggling, we don't view it that way. We sort of view it a play at a time and go execute what we got to execute. Yeah, there's probably a decision or two that you might need to make depending on the game situation and whether you're up or down, whether that's a punt pressure or a type of return. But all in all, I thought in Hamilton our special teams played pretty well, and we talked about that as a group. Outside of a few penalties that we do not need to take, and we're going to focus on that this week. We executed the game plan pretty well on specials and thought we did fine.
Can you speak specifically to the game of Alex Hale? Because I know that he was perfect, right? Field goals, converts, everything that you asked him to do, he accomplished that. So, I mean, what kind of work has he been putting in behind the scenes that maybe fans aren't seeing?
Yeah, that's a good question. Alex is he's a professional athlete, and he takes his craft very, very seriously. I was listening to the show at the beginning, and I think, Dave, you hit it on the nose that professional athletes know when they have done well or when they haven't done well, and they don't need to be reminded. Nobody cares more about this than Alex. I would remind fans that it's a 12-person game, not a one-person game, although the kicking, we often focus on an individual, but there's a number of people that need to be part of that. And so, we like what Alex is doing. He's working hard. He does what he needs to do. He's missed a couple of kicks that I know he would tell you in a second that he would want back. But I'll tell you what he did in Hamilton. It was windy there for those that weren't there. It was windy, and it was an unusual kind of swirly wind, and he hammered him. And that 52-yarder was a no-doubter, and he had lots of leg. And we look at a lot of things, including like trajectory of the ball and how he's striking it, and including in practice. And we track every kick, and we analyze every single kick, not just the ones in the games. And Alex is a tremendous kicker, and we like what he's doing, and we believe in him, and he's a key part of our team.
Coach, Mike Benson tried to explain to me the intricacies that go into the job that your specialists do, and it can come down to a minute detail like the rotation of a ball from his snap. How closely do you look at that? Is that film work? Is that just feel? How does that happen?
It's both, but it's film work for sure. We measure the rotation on every snap. We time every single snap in camp, in practice, and during the game. Snap to get off on a field goal, or snap to get off on a punt. Hang time, all of those things are parts of what I do on a daily basis, and we're looking for trends. If there's a reason we're at 8 yards back and other teams are 7.5, it depends on the snapper, it depends on the holder. We were very fortunate to pick up Mike during the season, since we had the injury early to Crawford, and that was that's a challenge, because that changes everything. It changes the battery, changes, and the timing changes, and that's not an excuse for Alex, or it's not an excuse for any misses. It's just a reality that there's a whole new cadence that needs to be reestablished. And, I think these guys, our unit, our snapper, long snapper, and kicker, long snapper, holder, and kicker they're tight. They've got their mechanics down. Oscar, it's often unnoticed, but our punter is our holder, and he is an elite holder, and it is perfect every time, and I have not seen that before in a holder. He's a tremendous holder, and Mike has been tremendous. He leads the league in snap time on punt. He's a tremendous field goal snapper. So we're pretty fortunate there. And like I said, Alex is he's striking the ball well, and sometimes you make kicks and you didn't strike it well, and that's some sort of a sign of things to come. Alex is striking the ball well generally, and you saw it in Hamilton, you saw it in the game before. So we're positive going forward with Alex.
How much fun is it being a special teams coach in Canada with the seemingly endless possibilities? Like, you look at the things that you've done. You've had an onside kick this year. You line up in onside punt formations, hard counts at the line of scrimmage to draw teams offside. Your punt return game changes seemingly all the time. You've had a punt block despite a penalty. Like, how much fun is that to be a coordinator when you can scheme those things, but then also teach it to players that may not be familiar with all the nuances of the Canadian game?
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. We have relationships with American coaches, and the special teams game is sort of disappearing in both college and the NFL. So it is fun. They're very envious of us. We haven't talked about punt fakes and field goal fakes and special returns and all of those things that are all part of the mix too. Fun is, it's cool, it's creative, you get to do a lot of different things. It's at the same time quite stressful, and I get gray hairs daily on this, so it's I'm really 26 years old, so I just love
it. You'd mentioned Oscar in his field goal hold, but sometimes I relate the fact that a punter can sometimes be viewed as having the driver in your bag, where you line up at the golf tee and you just go ahead and you hammer it and you hope for the best, just looking for as much distance as you can. That's not often the case when it comes to a punter. And how has he done in placing the punts where you want them to be?
He's done well. Oscar is a high-level punter as well. I didn't mean to diminish his skill set there. He did spend some time with the Minnesota Vikings last year. He was a great punter for Auburn. He has all the shots. He can do a lot of things. Now, again, to the average fan, and even back when I was a younger guy, we would look at punters and averages and say the guy with the highest average is the best punter. And that's simply not the case. And if you look at the returners in the CFL game, if we punt the ball 10 yards further than we want it to, Isaiah Wooden from Hamilton or Darian Grant from Toronto will make you pay. McAllister in Calgary, you could go across the board. Every team has one. And so we're asking Oscar to put those punts in certain places. I would not for a second look at average and say Oscar's 7th in the league in punt average. That means he's doing poorly. He is not. He is putting the punts where we need them to generally. He's not perfect. Nobody is. And sometimes we've had some windy games, and that pushes the ball around a little bit, but he gets the ball off the quickest in the league, which matters. That eliminates or it reduces the chances of punt blocks and things like that. But he can hit that low liner. He can hit the Aussie style, and he can let it go too. And so it depends what we're asking him to do. And Kent does a really good job of sort of coaching him before he goes out on each punt to tell him what he's looking for. And Oscar just delivers.
There's been a lot of turnover on special teams from last year compared to this year. And I also understand, Coach, that, you are also kind of new to the special teams on the coaching staff when it comes to the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2026. So how much fun has that been to learn together?
It's good. It's good. It's still coaching for me. I've coached special teams for a lot of years and spent it as coordinator at the Rams and in other situations. In some ways coaching is coaching, and it doesn't matter who it is. But, I think that's the biggest challenge with coaching special teams is managing the roster, because on offense, if your guys are healthy, those guys come back, and you know who the backup is. And in special teams, a single injury can have a huge impact even when you don't expect it. And so if you lose, a starter in the defensive backfield, And a player like Jackson Ford, who was a 4-team specialist for us, now is a starter as a safety, and then that impacts where he played in specials. We can't play him in all the spots we did. And so we've had a lot of change and a lot of turnover, and so have a lot of teams. But that's another key part of, what I do during a game. But what Kent and I do during the week is manage that roster, and we go through it daily because this guy might be up and this guy might be down. Now, what does that impact? And so then you got to teach. And then, back to the other question, then you get it, from the previous, you get an, American kid up here. We had an experience a couple of weeks ago. New player came in, and I was showing him the Outlaw, our punt return team. And I saw him looking at the screen, and he's all of a sudden counting the players, and he's like, "There's 12 guys on the field." And I said, "Yeah, there's 12 guys on the field." So you kind of got to start from scratch. A yard off the ball, last touch out of bounds, all those things that are uniquely Canadian aspects, and then just apply it to special teams. But honestly, the players here are tremendous. The coaches are tremendous, and it's a very supportive environment. So a new player comes in, or a new coach for myself coming in, you get up to speed pretty quick, because there is really one job. Our job is to, be 1-0 every week. And there's no excuses about, we can't give less than full effort. So that's what we're up against.
Coach Stusek, if you've talked with some of your former athletes that you've coached, the one thing that they point out from the University of Regina program, and even the U of S as well, but they talk about how it is such a pro approach that happens at the university level and has been carried them over into the professional game. So saying and hearing that, do you coach any differently from the way that you did at the U of R when you're dealing with amateur athletes to now in the CFL where you're dealing with pro athletes?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Yes and no. Mark McConkey and I did a lot of the build, if you will, of the current culture of the Rams, and the style and the practice planning and the behaviors and the values and all of those things. And those are transferable. And so I'd say none of that is different. Being a rider, there's a strong value system here and expectations around performance and behavior. So that's not that. It's a little different. We'll have 30-year-old athletes, playing for the Riders, and we'll have 17-year-old athletes coaching, that you're coaching with the Rams. And, life is different. And so the challenges of an 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old is different than a challenge of a 30-year-old. And sometimes it's the same. And so, no, not a lot. I think the one difference is, a professional football player, this is their job. And so, yeah, they're here with us for, 4 to 5 hours a day. But they're also spending 4 to 5 hours more prepping on their own, whether that's lifting or, going through the material. And so there's just a high expectation. Essentially, teach it once, it's expected to be known. I wouldn't say that's the case at the university. They got studies, they got other issues. For me, you're trying to get the focus of a player while they're with you at the university. You still have the focus of a player when they're not with you here with the Riders. I'd say that's the only difference, other than for me personally, the time. The time to be a professional coach is 10 to 12 to 14 hours every day, 7 days a week. That's not exactly the expectation at the university. I used to do that while I had another full-time job. So, there's some slight nuances there, and the technology and the support network is a little stronger here in the professional organization, but that's to be expected. So I've had the great opportunity. I was making a quick list of all the players that I've coached in Regina minor football or university or U16 or U18 that are in the CFL now. And the list got pretty long, and it's really cool when we get to play these teams on the road, and a player will come up and, "Hey, coach, how you doing? You coached me at this." And it's kind of cool. So you get to, I'm an old man now, so I get to see the sort of rewards of my work from the past.
What's the over-under on how many text messages you're going to send McConkey once the Ram season gets underway, picking apart their special teams?
Yeah, no kidding. No, the individual who was helping me on specials, Bruce Anderson, has taken over. He and I have spent a lot of time together, and Mark and I spend a lot of time together still. We're close friends. So Bruce can reach out at any point, and vice versa. I talked to him today already on how it's going in the camp, and what they're working on, and so I'll stay on top of what's happening there, and vice versa. Like I said, Bruce comes and watch film, and we're tight. So
interesting conversation that I had with Luke Mullender, Coach Stusek, was we were discussing how every player on the Riders roster at some point or other was the guy on their team, whether that was at college, whether that was at high school, on offense or defense predominantly. They come to the professional ranks, and now they're asked to play special teams, something that, maybe some of the players didn't even get much of an opportunity to do. But when you look at this Rough Rider team, the comment that he made was, look at the amount of pride that the special teams unit have, whether it's covering and blocking for a field goal attempt or going down and covering a punt. Where does that mantra come from, if you will, in that pride that the team takes in specials?
Yeah, that's a really astute observation. We had this on the Rams, so I've kind of been blessed. We built it. I came to the Riders. Players beg us to be on specials. It is not the reverse. Nobody is saying, please take me off kickoff. They want to be on kickoff. They want to be on punt. I think it starts at the top. Corey has that. That's just an expectation. Kent does an amazing job of creating a culture, our junkyard dog culture, that guys want to be part of it. They hold themselves to incredibly high standards. We hold them to incredibly high standards. We do not take a star receiver or linebacker and say, oh, it's okay if you just sort of Cadillac or take it easy on this particular special teams. It gets called out in film. There's a high standard there. So it's a desire. And I think if I look at other teams that struggle with specials, I'd say it starts and ends with culture. And the culture of the Riders is that. I think what helps us is you have a player like Jameer Thurman, a vet who's been around the league, and he wants to play specials. And if he's not in, he's watching the guy the spot that he'd be in, and he will hold that player to account as well. And he's the first one, if we run into some special teams injuries and I need someone, I look back and he's ready to go. Grabs his helmet, he can just jump in. And that kind of, the Riders have had those types of players. Roland Milligan was that way. Sam Emelis is that way. Jameer Thurman's that way. There's just guys that are ready to jump in and want to be part of it, and we have to hold them back.
I know that I'm asking a Rams guy to say nice things about a Huskies guy, but Daniel Weeb.
Stop talking, David. Good night.
Hey, I've been dubbed honorary. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. But Daniel Weeb, his first taste of CFL action, he has to come in and field a punt with 12 big men running down at him at home at Mosaic Stadium. He's taken over doing a lot of punt returns right now on the team with some injuries before him, so on and so forth. But what is that testament to the young man from Rosetown, Saskatchewan, who steps in and is fielding kicks for you right now?
Exactly. So I was the U18 head coach and for a couple of years, and we won national championships. And the second one, we were in Kingston, and this young Daniel Weeb was a receiver that was trying out. He's from Rosetown. He played 9-man football. We're going against cover 2s, cover 3s. How are we going to beat a Quebec team that is loaded with Div 1 folks? And this kid was unbelievable. And so he did everything. He's tougher than nails. He made every catch. He was tough as he just do everything. And so that ended, and I was working with the Rams as well. So we recruited like heck to get him. He chose to stay home, which is completely understandable. I hated coaching against him in the Rams for 4 or 5 years because he killed us. He just killed us. And so I knew he was going to be successful as a pro. Kent Maturi knew that I knew him, and I trusted him, and he never ceases to surprise us. We've gone through returners, and we are still leading the league in punt returns, and we've got little Daniel Weeb back there returning punts, and we don't lose a step, but it's a statement to the culture of the organization. The standard doesn't lower. This is who we are. And so Daniel's amazing, but he will have an amazing career. And I have no doubt about that. Saskatchewan football players are built that way. Ryder Varga's that way. Jackson Ford's that way. Tanner Schmeckel's that way. You could go across the league. That's the kind of football player Saskatchewan produces, and they're just tenacious battlers.
I know the team is now preparing to, look back at the tape, move ahead, go into BC, face the Lions this upcoming Sunday. But when we flip on the TV next weekend or listen to Dave and Luke's call from the broadcast booth at BC Place, what's one thing that you think passive CFL fans should pay closer attention to when it comes to the special teams unit? Because quite frankly, I think it's it's one of those phases of the game that maybe we take for granted.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think we do. I think the average fan might take special teams for granted, but you can learn a lot about a team by watching certain aspects. And so, if you are listening to Dave and Luke, that's great. And it's we score or they score a touchdown. Pay attention to what our field goal defend team does. How much effort they provide on that point after attempt. For most teams, it's a whatever play. We just got scored on, and it's a whatever play. For us, it's a message sender. How tough are we? Can we send a message? So, you look. I always look at a team. I watch their kickoff team and how fast do they run. I watch their punt team and how sound are they in protection, or how well are they coached. And I watch their punt return team and how aggressive are they in going after the punter or setting up that punt return. And you're going to learn about the team. And so offense, we all understand, and it's a quarterback driven league, and how are we running the ball, or how that's going is how it's going. We're used to that kind of stuff, but you'll learn a lot about the team, the core of the team, the heart of the team, by watching the special teams.
Well, Jeff Stusek, I hope that you enjoy watching some Canada West preseason action this weekend. Best of luck in BC as well this week.
Thanks. I appreciate the conversation.
Well, thanks for taking the time, Coach. We appreciate it as always.
My pleasure.
That was your Riders Coaches Show, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, in Western Canada, for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, servicing all of Saskatchewan. I should also mention here really quick, Saskatchewan Roughrider 50-50. Did you hear what the early bird prize is this week? Sparkling Hill getaway for 2. You want to talk about, gin and tonic here. Sparkling Hill getaway for 2. This is actually to Kelowna, though. This sounds like a lot of fun. Return flights from Saskatchewan to Kelowna, 2 nights at the Sparkling Hill Resort. Couples escape package with daily dinner and a spa credit. Okay, $5,000 cash if you don't want to take the trip. You can just take the money and run. You can also have a chance to win that jackpot, which is absolutely incredible every single week. If you want to get in on this, you can become an exclusive member. Get in every week. Just go to riders5050.com. They have exclusive getaways and experiences up for grabs every single week. Again, riders5050.ca. Your deadline for this week is going to be coming up at Friday night at 10 p.m. So just go do it now. Go get your tickets, then you don't have to worry about it. Riders5050.ca. We'll still have to talk a little bit about your plays of the week coming off of that loss to Hamilton. So we'll get to that here in just a bit. Your clutch performer coming up and your sports ticker. So hang tight. We'll be right back. This is the Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR 260010. Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Yes, it is your Clutch Performer. I have a couple of them. Shocker. The first one that I'm going to go with, a new name. A new face in Major League Baseball, and you might want to get familiar with this guy. His name is Joshua Baez. He went from working as a DoorDash delivery driver to making MLB history on Saturday. He's 23 years old. He plays with the Cardinals, He homered in each of his first 3 at-bats. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
3 home runs in his Major League Baseball debut. He's also been tearing it up in AAA. So he was leading the AAA league, 34 home runs before getting the call to St. Louis. And yeah, his whole family was there in attendance. They were just so excited. I mean, how memorable of a night would that be to get 3 homers back to back to back?
That's pretty
for your
good.
Major League debut.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. We had to go with Joshua Baez on that one. So there's your first clutch. I'll throw it over to you, Dave.
Okay, for my clutch performer, I love the game within the game, right? So when coaches coach, right, you try to get the most out of your athletes, and you want your athletes to get the best out of themselves thanks to the coaching. That makes sense?
Yeah.
The other job of coaching is that you find loopholes, if you will, right? You find ways that you can put the rules to your advantage. And sometimes it gets to a situation where, for example, in the National Football League, they're talking about banning the tush push because it is just so darn effective, right? So stop me. That's the thing, right? It's not against the rules. Stop me. And that's cool. So where I'm going with this long-winded explanation is I'm going with Jose Caballero of the New York Yankees. Now, the Yankees won 1 of 4 games in Toronto over the weekend. We're going to show this at sportscage.com and on our streams. And what happened was the Jays needed a tying run late in the ball game. So a sac fly goes to center field, and it's caught by the Yankees outfielder. Now, of course, the Jays trying to tie the game are going to go ahead and tag up from third base. So first and third, 1 out, fly ball center field, runner tagged and is heading home. But prior to that happening, Jose Caballero, the third baseman for the Yankees, went and stood in front of the Jays base runner so that he couldn't see when the ball was going to be caught by the center fielder, hence delaying his tag up and having to rely on the coach.
It's like a screen in front of a goalie in hockey.
100%. So by doing that, he had to slow up just a fraction of a second. And if the center fielder had any arm at all and could have gotten it on target, that little fraction of a second could have turned a safe call into an out call. So again, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I know that he's being eaten up online for cheating and breaking the rules and everything. It's not a rule. It's not cheating. It's smart heads-up play. Just like when a second baseman, for example, will deke that they've gone ahead and made a catch at second base or something, or that the ball is coming, right?
Well, what's the old saying? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
True. And so
Even
anyways,
though it's legal in the MLB.
It's totally legal. I just think it was a phenomenal idea to go ahead and shield him so he couldn't see when the ball was caught, delaying his tag up and running to home.
That's just playing smart baseball. And that's the one thing that I'll never understand about people who call baseball boring. Because, I mean, you and I were talking about this before we even started the show. It was a week ago today where they had that 17-minute delay during the Jays game because of a rule that the umpires didn't even fully understand about tagging up, not checking. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. You never know what you're going to get in Major League Baseball. Good thing we have 10 games on the slate tonight. The Jays are not one of them.
Exactly. And the best CFL example that I can have, and I so badly want this to happen so I can see it live, is the Montreal Alouettes, right? They do that little drop kick so that they can turn a second and long into a first down because they recover it themselves. Again, the league has looked at banning the play because the Montreal Alouettes do it really well. No one else has tried it. Well, if you don't like it, try it. Why not?
Practice it.
Absolutely.
You have close practices every week.
Unfortunately, Jeshron Antwi, who is like the master at it, doesn't play. But I just absolutely love that play. So again, if you maximize the rules, just like Mr. Caballero, I tip my hat to you and you become clutch.
Smart baseball.
Thank you.
We love that. Okay, another clutch performer. We did mention this a little bit earlier on in the show. If you missed the conversation with her, by the way, the executive director of Special Olympics Saskatchewan joined us around 3:30. You can always go back and listen in podcast form. But we talked about Taylor Carter, who's from Regina. Special Olympian, was in Medicine Hat last week for the Summer Games and just drilled a hole-in-one. Pardon me, home-in-one. You can tell we were just talking about baseball. But yeah, he ended up getting a hole-in-one at the Special Olympics and just had an absolutely stellar performance. I also do want to mention, I got one more here. How do you not? I know I've been bringing it up in the ticker, but
on that hole-in-one, I think it was a 137-yard shot with a 9-iron.
Really?
It was a. You can search for the video. You'll find it on socials, but it was.
Yeah.
It was something. Like, it was a shot.
That was really good. I think that was Friday, if I'm not mistaken, late in the day. But also just, the whole Special O team from here in Saskatchewan as well. 64 medals in total, which is pretty incredible. And then obviously you got to tip your cap to everybody involved with flag here in Canada, because both the men's and the women's are now qualified for the Olympic Games in 2028 in LA. Not to mention the women, the Canadian women beat USA to get gold.
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, anytime that it's Canada-US, obviously there's always going to be a little more juice.
I tell you, the Canadian women's quarterback, she was absolutely dialed. She had an excellent tournament to the point that I was reading online about some of the intricacies that she brought in the scheme and everything, and it was terrific. So she was fantastic.
And if you are watching the stream right now at sportscage.com, you see immediately after the gold medal victory yesterday, every single player on the women's side for Team Canada in flag football, they all rush off the field to go see their injured teammate who was unable to play in this game. So they ran over to her, who was sitting in a chair, clearly, in pain, and they went over to go celebrate with their teammate, which I thought was pretty special.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So tip of the cap to Canada flag football, both the men's and the women's side. Of course, Paul Lapalisse, he's a coach for the men's side. You got Joel Lipinski from up in Saskatoon, defensive coordinator for the men's side. So pretty cool, pretty special for the country. And I'm excited to see what the Olympics have to bring in 28.
And if you saw the end of the men's game, right? So the men win bronze. Mm-hmm. And so that game went to overtime against Mexico, and it ended on a Canadian interception in their own end zone, right? So that's how it ended.
Yeah.
And the best part of that, if you were looking for the video, and again, just because we know Joel Lipinski, good friend of the program, known Joel for a number of years, is that Joel just absolutely goes tearing out onto the field with the rest of the team after the interception. He's the defensive coordinator, so it makes sense. Paul Lapalisse was a couple of strides behind. Yeah. Anyways, but Paul was running too. But just it was really, really cool to see. And again, how cool is that? You know?
It's a pretty special moment. It's historic. They haven't had flag football in the Olympics before, so in the Summer Games in 2028, you're going to see Canada there on the men's and the women's side.
And I'm very curious. I heard something off again, completely off the record, that it might be a one and done.
Oh.
Because it's
Wait, did you just say something that was supposed to be off the record on a radio show?
Well, not really. No, okay, sorry. It was just mentioned that there's a potential for it to be one and done in the Olympics after LA, because it is a demonstration sport.
True.
And so that doesn't mean that the Olympic movement is at all obligated to...
But it's not like this is breakdancing.
Hey, let's face it, curling took forever to become a full-fledged sport, right?
Good point.
So I would think there might be some influence by the National Football League, because this flag football is a way to grow the game, right? And whether you're in Canada, when you're in the States, it is a uniquely different game, and it again allows a lot of participation to happen.
Do you think because the games are going to be taking place in North America, that might have some more influence, though?
Well, being in LA, that's why it was brought in, right?
Yeah.
So it used to be, and I shouldn't say I know this is fact, but it used to be that when you held an Olympic Games, you could promote or try to bring in a demonstration sport.
Right.
And so that's how LA apparently said, yeah, we think that this would be a great demonstration sport. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And then IFAF, the international governing body of flag football, took over with their world championship, and they began the qualification process this year. And from what I understand, an absolute knockout in Germany as far as attendance, as far as viewership, as far as competitive structure, as part of the last word that I heard was embodying Olympic values. And knowing some of the sponsorship things that have happened, I scratched my head. But saying that, yeah.
So here's what I'm hearing. Okay, viewership was up, attendance was up. Everybody seemingly was very entertained by this. Mm-hmm. That equals money, which revenue is something the IOC is not opposed to.
That's why it's clutch, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like that one.
And I would love to see that event come to Saskatchewan. I think that we would absolutely...
Are you going to start advocating for that in your spare time?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so email D.
I would. I'm not sure that it would work. I don't know if it would work in a CFL stadium or a Griffith Stadium. Like, it looked like the stadiums were specifically designed for the flag game, which made that much better because it seemed like it was such an enclosed space. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think that Saskatchewan always knocks it out of the park when we hold these big events. I think it would be really cool for Football Sask and sorry, Mike Thomas and Jeff Yowzy and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, they're shaking their fist at the radio. We're not busy enough, Dave?
Yeah, but I think it would be really cool to hold it in Canada, and I think Saskatchewan could pull it off.
Oh, I think we could.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, we have one more here. I don't know if Curtis wants to do this one. I can steal his thunder. One more clutch performer. Okay, I'm going to do it for him because he actually brought this up. I think it was actually our friend Matt Young who was tweeting this, if I'm not mistaken. He was talking about a little PFC action over the weekend. The Edmonton Wildcats, who fell quite handedly to the Regina Thunder last week at home. They faced the Hilltops over the weekend, the Saskatoon Hilltops, and they beat them.
Yeah.
That's their first win over the Hilltops since 2009. So a pretty remarkable accomplishment for them. So that's pretty clutch. We're going to go with that. Okay, I think that's enough clutch performers for one day. No unclutches, so that's a good start to the week.
Good job. Yeah.
Right?
Staying
Look at
positive.
Me keeping it positive. Clutch Performer is brought to you by Kelton Solar. You know they can help with your livestock operations. Book now to get your solar quotes for your home, your farm, your cabin. Save money with the local company, Kelton Solar in Lumsden. I think we have a little bit of time here to quickly maybe run through our Saskatchewan Roughrider plays of the week. Maybe that's something that we can look at here because we are looking for your help to determine which was the play of the week. You can vote, by the way, just by going to sportscage.com. You'll find the video there. If you're watching the stream, we're going to run it for you here in just a sec. But 3 different plays to choose from. And yes, I understand, Rider Nation, it's a little bit of a soft spot right now considering the Riders did not pull off a victory in Steeltown. But there were still some plays that we wanted to highlight here. So, Curtis, let's roll it.
30 seconds to go. Ball on the Hamilton 21-yard line. Here comes the blitz. Harris has time to the middle, down to the 3, towards the end zone. Touchdown, Riders! What a play to Johnny Johnson III over the middle. Trevor Harris found him, and from 21 yards out, the Riders will take the lead right before halftime for Johnny Johnson III. That is touchdown reception number 1 of his CFL career. Ball on the 42 of Saskatchewan. Ford in the gun, only 4 down linemen for the Riders. Ford back to pass. Loads up, pressure comes. Now he's going to scramble and takes off. Gets to the 40, but he's met there and thrown down at the 40-yard line. It'll be a turnover on downs for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The first turnover they manufacture tonight. It'll be 3rd and 3 for the Riders, and it looks like Alex Hale is going to attempt a 4th field goal. This one will be long distance from about the 51. Hale, lots of leg, it's up, and it's good. He's 4 for 4 tonight.
It might be enough to give him the confidence to just, be that guy for them.
Those are your 3 plays of the week to choose from. You can go vote right now at sportscage.com. So in case you missed any of that, the first one, Johnny Johnson III with his first career CFL touchdown. So that's pretty exciting for that receiver who's coming in. You also have Josh Woods. His stop on Trey Ford just wrapped him right up. So that's option number 2. And then option number 3, we spoke about it earlier in the Riders Coaches Show with Jeff Stusek, special teams assistant coach, of course. Alex Hale going 4 for 4 in Hamilton. Pretty clutch. We just came off our clutch performer. So which one would you take, Dave? Are you not going to say? Are you going to keep that private?
Ooh.
I know last week I asked you and I both publicly said which one we were going to take. I feel like this week's a little more challenging.
They're all are
pretty good.
Like Josh Wood's stick on third down, and
yeah.
I mentioned it right at that time and point in the ball game. I thought, turn out the lights. Hamilton just went ahead and buried themselves. But again, shows the resiliency of the Ticats.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's what you should expect in a professional football team, I should say. But again, that was a clutch play by Josh Woods. I liked Alex Hale. He was, again, Coach Stusek said it. He was hammering the ball all night, right?
Mm-hmm. And it was windy.
Yeah, to my untrained eye, he looked very, very confident in what he was doing. And then it was cool to see Johnny Johnson III get his first CFL touchdown, and boy, did he fight for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was down, and I thought, they're going to mark him down at the 1. But no, he slid down, popped right back up. It was the best, what's the term in baseball? It's not a pop-up slide. Maybe it is. But hopped up right away.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a pop-up slide.
Dove right in from 3 yards out. So
I'm a sucker for milestones like Johnny Johnson III, when they get their first career CFL touchdown. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to ask him. I know we didn't have him on the post-game show, but what he's going to do with that game ball. Is he going to keep it? Is he going to get a stand for it, put it on his mantle, put it on his nightstand? I am a sucker for those first career moments.
Yes.
So I got to go with Johnny Johnson III, despite the loss. That first career CFL touchdown is a pretty special moment and one that he's never going to forget.
Did you vote for Dylan Jette last week in his first career? Okay.
I did.
I see a trend.
I'm kind of a sucker for those, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool moments in the CFL.
Yeah. I don't dispute you. I think they're all good.
I feel like you're judging me.
Really?
A little bit.
No. I know better than that. I'm not. I was born at night, but not last night, right? No, they're all, again, I know I promoted all 3 solid selections. That's why it's out there to you, Rider Nation, to vote and let us know.
Okay, so Dave's not picking, in other words.
No, fair enough.
Okay. Let us know what you think. Again, sportscage.com if you would like to rewatch any of those plays and make an informed decision. Let us know what you think. We'll declare a winner a little bit later on this week. Let's take a quick break. We do have your sprinkle of the day straight ahead. We're also going to catch up with Crofty, so hang tight. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Linda had questions, she talked to Brian Golly.
He's always well prepared and has answers for us. We take it as gospel, and he's led us down the right path so far.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions. 306-546-2533.
We would recommend Brian anytime, and we would recommend him to anybody.
Why test for asbestos? Because before 1990, asbestos was commonly used in more than 3,000 building materials and other products. Because when asbestos fibers become airborne, they get into the lungs and cause severe damage over time. Because asbestos exposure is the #1 cause of work-related deaths in Saskatchewan. Built before 1990? Test for asbestos. Start at worksafesask.ca.
For 70 years, Freeze-Tallman has been more than a building supplier. It's been part of the community. Family owned since 1956, Freeze-Tallman is proud to grow alongside the families, builders, and businesses they serve. This milestone is about more than time. It's about trust, hard work, and relationships built to last. Thank you for being part of the Freeze-Tallman story. Visit freeze-tallman.com. Freeze-Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some people admire abstract art, but we'd rather admire Abstract Pizza, a masterpiece of pepperoni, smoky ham, crispy bacon, bubbling melty cheese, every slice a work of delicious perfection. And if your masterpiece needs a supporting cast, add tender ribs, hearty lasagna, or mouth-watering souvlaki on the side.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Major League Baseball regular season, 10 games on the slate tonight. The Jays are not one of them. In fact, this is a rare night off for them, it seems, as they've had 17 days straight with some baseball action. 12 wins within that stretch. They are currently just one game back from a wild card spot, so kick back, relax in Tampa for a night, and get ready for a showdown against the Rays. They also have some fantasy football draft research to do. We mentioned it earlier in your clutch performer. Canada men's and women's flag football teams are now qualified officially for the Olympics this year, with the women taking the gold, the men going home with the bronze. I think that's pretty much all we got for you. Just a reminder that the Sports Ticker is brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport. Oh, no, I did miss one here. I'm sorry. WNBA Dallas is in Golden State. Tip-off for that game is just after 8 o'clock. And if you wanted to participate in our sportscage.com poll, you can also let us know how many WCBL games you took in person this year. Did you go see a game, Dave?
WCBL, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many, but yeah.
I bet it got you beat.
You probably did, yeah. You had a front row seat to a great season.
Well, that, and I will be honest, there was a lot of doubleheaders with the amount of rain that we had this year.
Very
so
true.
Let us know what you think. Head online to sportscage.com. Text us anytime as well. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. But in the meantime, we got to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and chat with our boy Crofty. Dan Croft, Croft Electric. Appreciate you taking the time. How's it been?
I'm good. How is your Monday going so far?
You know what? I can't complain. I cannot complain. But you know what? I also don't have any broken breaker boxes or anything like that in my house. You been keeping busy?
We are. We're busy. I don't want to call it the August lull, but it kind of slows down a little bit in August as far as like the guys in the field are busy, but us in the office because people are on holidays and they're not planning their projects yet, and they're not getting ready for fall. So, we want to kind of wake them up a little bit. And let's get us out there, give your quote, get your farm or your business or your home, those little fall projects. Let's look at them. It's a good time to do it.
So when everybody comes back from their vacationing out at the cabin, out at the lake, whatever, and everybody comes back crawling to Crofty, asking for all of the electrical help at home, what's the best way to make sure that a client gets taken care of right away? How do we get to the top of the list?
The first way is be a preferred customer, be a part of our preferred customer program. You can sign up for that right on our website at www.croftelectric, and that'll get you your priority booking. The second is, give Amy a call, get booked in. Let's get out there. Let's take a look at whatever it is, your farm project, your house. Like I said, we don't want to use the fall word yet, or even the evil W word, but it's common. So the sooner we can get out there, the sooner we can get ahead of it, the more money we can save you, the more cost effective we can be.
Now, Dan Croft, I don't know if you heard it on the Croft Electric countdown to kickoff prior to the Rider game in Hamilton, but it was wrestling night in the Steel Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I did think of you because one of the wrestlers' names was High Voltage. And I thought to myself, if Dan Croft was a wrestler, he'd probably go by the name of High Voltage. And if I
like that, yeah.
And if you and I were to square off in the squared circle, I think that my nickname or my wrestling name would have been Short Circuit. Because when I get into do-it-yourself products and electricity, it doesn't work well. But when we call you, we know that we're going to get not only professional service, but you people do it right and take pride in doing it right the first time.
For sure. We have really highly trained, highly skilled electricians. And we want to come out and do it right, do it once. Make sure your project is done right. Like everything. Like Dave, if I came and tried to do a rider call with you, I would stumble and bumble and rumble through it and be terrible at it, and there'd be tons of mistakes. And that's kind of what we want to keep people in their homes and their businesses away. Like, let us come in, let us come do it. You guys do what you're good at, and let us take that off their plate.
Dan Croft, Croft Electric. I know that you guys always have some great tips and your funny little posts on social media, so highly encourage everyone to follow you on your socials and, of course, check out your website. But how do we get in touch if we want to give you a shout and get you all booked up for us?
Yes, give us a call, 306-586-1333. Chat with Amy. She'll get you all booked in. This time of day, she is done for the day, but you can always leave a message or, like I said, go on the www.croftelectric.com, and there's a Contact Us page there.
All right, Dan Croft, Crofty as we like to call him, or High Voltage.
See, I thought High Voltage was good.
I like that, yeah.
Maybe that's the challenge for your shout-out this week on social media. Dan Croft in tights with High Voltage. I can already see the lightning bolt down the side of the lake. Like, this could be good. Okay. It could be bad.
If you need someone to design your uni, I guess you know who to call.
I'll see if I can get a photo shoot booked up and get that done before the weekend.
If you need the Sportscage studio, let us know. We'll vacate for you.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you, Dan. Thanks for doing this.
Have a great call. Bye.
Bye. That's Dan Croft, Croft Electric. He joins us every Monday around this time.
I can't wait for the tailgate party. August 29th against Toronto in the Croft Electric.
That's supposed to be the family game.
What? Wrestling is family-friendly entertainment.
Is it?
High Voltage. I can see it.
Smashing people into tables is family-friendly?
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
Who am I to argue?
Okay. You heard it from Dave, not me. Still to come this afternoon, we have Darian Durant shortly after your news. So he joins us every Monday shortly after 5 o'clock. He's going to dissect Week 11 in the CFL for us, what went wrong for the Riders, what went right. We're also going to talk a little bit of NFL preseason action because there's a few names familiar to Saskatchewan Roughrider fans that have been making some noise south of the border. Maddox Schultz is also going to be joining us forward with the Regina Pats fresh off the Hlinka Gretzky Cup with his teammate Liam Pugh. So we're going to talk about that as well. It's the Sportscage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Did you know you can get endless streaming and live entertainment anywhere in Canada?
Now wait just a moose a minute.
You can, thanks to Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer. So cross that border to Flin Flon, Manitoba, and your shows come with you. Why stop there? Head to Vulcan, Alberta, or heck, even St. Louis du Ha-Ha, Quebec, the town with exclamation marks in its name. See Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, for details on Max TV Stream, internet, and cellular service.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow team today.
Calling all Rider fans. The Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery bonus deadline is this Friday. Win the Champions Edition bonus prize, a 2026 Cadillac Escalade and Rider season tickets, or choose $130,000 cash. Plus, there are over 1,000 more prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Don't miss out. Bonus deadline is this Friday. Play for Sask Kids. Get your tickets at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR260015. Please play responsibly.
This is 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere in high-res audio with the CKRM app.
News is brought to you by Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Call 306-332-6711.
The news is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of Saskatchewan's biggest selection of Ram trucks and Jeeps. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
It's 5 o'clock. A good evening. A light rain shower and 15 degrees in Regina. I'm Will Mantic from the SAS Today newsroom with 620 CKRM News. As U.S. tariffs loom once again this week, Prime Minister Mark Carney says he expects to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. Carney says he expects this to happen before Wednesday's deadline. He added that talks are intense and delicate, and that his government is prepared for any outcome. The Prime Minister also expects the Churchill Falls Agreement to be a topic of discussion. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the federal government should give Canadians at least another 10 months of relief at the pumps. Canadian Press reporter David Augustine has more.
The Liberals suspended the federal fuel excise tax in April in response to global price shock sparked by the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. At the time, Prime Minister Mark Carney said the measures would stay in place until Labor Day and would bring gas prices down by an average of 10 cents a litre and diesel by 4 cents a litre. At a news conference in Vancouver, Poilievre said prices are on the rise again and Canadians can't afford a 10-cent per litre hike next month. In a letter to Carney, Poilievre said he wants the excise tax relief extended until at least July 1st, 2027, at which time it can be reviewed. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
One man is dead after a multi-vehicle collision. Saskatchewan RCMP say it happened on August 10th at the intersection of Highways 39 and 339. Mounties determined a truck and semi collided. The lone occupant of the truck, a 25-year-old man, was taken to hospital where he would later die. The driver of the semi reported no injuries to police, and Mounties continue to investigate. More warm weather flights will be offered in Regina for those who want to escape the cold this year. WestJet has announced a 64% year-over-year capacity growth for Regina's airport. Airport CEO James Bogus says this is very exciting news.
We were absolutely thrilled with the announcement today on the massive capacity increase year over year for our city and, frankly, all of southern Saskatchewan to be able to enjoy a winter getaway to a favorite sun destination and, in many cases, nonstop.
For the first time ever, WestJet will also offer a direct flight from Regina to Los Cabos, Mexico. Researchers have confirmed a tornado formed over Christopher Lake in northern Saskatchewan on August 14th, bringing the province's annual tornado count to 36. The Northern Tornadoes Project says the waterspout was spotted at around 6:30 at night and caused no damage. The tornado has received a preliminary EF0 rating. Christopher Lake is about 40 kilometers north of Prince Albert. At 6:20 CKRM News, read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Come on. What happened? Broken strings again. That's the third one this summer.
Maybe the beach doesn't like your solos, man.
Hey, man, while you're changing that up, we're going to head to Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Get connected with SaskTel Internet, Max Stream TV, and the latest cell phones. Laptops are in stock at great prices, and once they're gone, prices are going up. So now's the time to buy. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Matt Fisher here, General Manager at Crestview Chrysler. You know, our staff here is the best in town, so anytime they're ready for a new vehicle, they get the best price. For a limited time, we're giving that same discount to you. And you know what that means. You pay what we pay. We got a huge selection of Ram trucks, Wranglers, Durangos, Pacificas, and everything in between. If you're shopping for something new, this is officially the best time to stop in and see us. Don't miss employee pricing at Crestview in Regina.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com.
In your precision weather forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 8. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a northwest wind between 10 to 20 kilometers an hour, a high of 24. Tomorrow night's low, 9. Wednesday, mostly sunny, a southeast wind between 10 to 20, a high of 28. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 27. And Friday, partly sunny, a high of 24. Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon, 20. Swift Current, 22. Assiniboia, 22 degrees. Broadview and Moosomin, 18. Yorkton and Melville, 18. Estevan, 20. Weyburn, 18. Right now in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. There's a north wind of 24, and it's 18 degrees. In Regina, there's a light rain shower, a northwest wind of 17, and it's 15 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sastoday.ca.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
This is the year to own the boat of your dreams. At Kevin's Marine, discover legendary Lund boats, built for a lifetime of serious fishing and family fun. Stretch out and relax, or enjoy the day with family on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest, or make a splash in a 4-wind sport boat, all powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, get manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Teagan Witko, Dave Thomas, and Curtis with you here on the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well. You can join in the conversation there on the YouTube chat. You can text us as well. Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. We got lots of people texting in their predictions for the score this upcoming Sunday in BC. What's it going to be between the Riders and the Lions? If you send us your score prediction, chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card, as well as tickets to the next Rider home game. Just make sure that you include your name, okay? And we do have some really tight ones coming in here, so give us those predictions. First, we do need to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline for Double Talk.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture. Inspect your openers now with Dutch Agriculture's On Farm for You program, so you're not caught off guard in the spring.
Darian, we have plenty to talk about coming off of Week 11 in the CFL, and I think we need to start with right here at home. The Riders, they dropped this one in Hamilton. Man, they had a 19-10 lead heading into the fourth quarter, and then they were just completely shut out. What went wrong for Saskatchewan there?
Well, I think it's just lack of run game. I mean, the Riders were consistently in second and long. Hamilton was able to just sit back, come up, make tackles, force the Riders to punt. And, only 12 carries for 45 yards. That's not going to get it done. The Riders are the number one second down conversion team in the league. And a lot of that has to do with success on first down, making sure you're in a second and medium, second and short situation. And that entire, not the entire second half, but late in the third quarter and pretty much the entire fourth quarter, the Riders were in second and long, and Hamilton did a great job of forcing them to punt. And Trey Ford did what he had to do with the RPO game to get the Hamilton Tiger Cats down the football field.
Tell me about what you saw in the run game. Why wasn't it working?
I just think it's just lack of consistency. I think, the Riders didn't stick to it enough, because Ouellette's down, because Mason's down. I just think it was a little bit of lack of confidence there in Star Thomas, and just not giving him the consistent touches he needs. And when you have a guy like Trevor who's so accurate and he's such a vet in this league, sometimes you can kind of depend on him a little bit too much to get it done, when all great quarterbacks need a run game and need a consistent run game to put them in better second down situations.
So the secondary was a big topic of conversation on the call-in show here. Of course, we understand that there are some, injuries. Trey Ford kind of exposed some of those issues late in the game, though. Do you think it was, how can they fix that? What adjustments do the Riders need to make?
I think they'll be fine in the secondary. Even though with Milligan out and with Tavon Campbell out, you're losing, all-star caliber players. I just think Trey Ford's the type of quarterback that always gives the Riders problems. It doesn't matter if their A guys are in there. The ability to run around, buy time, scramble. The Riders play a ton of zone defense. So if you're a quarterback that can buy time, you can find receivers in those holes in the defense down the field. So that's always been the Achilles heel of this style defense, off coverage, soft zone. It's guys that can move around and buy time, and Trey Ford did a great job of that. So I don't think the secondary is really an issue. I feel like the Riders played a really good football game. They should have won this game probably. Some costly mistakes here or there, and not being able to move the ball is, in my opinion, more of an issue than the secondary.
When Trey Ford comes into the game, it automatically seemed to change the tempo and pace of the game with his ability to extend plays. If you're a defensive coordinator, how do you defend that? What would you have done to limit his effectiveness?
I think I would have just sat back, maybe have 5 guys in the box, make Hamilton run the ball. Trey Ford and Scott Milanovic, they showed that they wanted to do a lot of read option game where, you either fake it to the running back and give it, or you pull it and get on the edge and find some receivers. So if that's the type of game that they want to play, you either force him to hand the ball off, or you force him to sit in the pocket. So I think, the switch up was a good job by Hamilton. I mean, I don't think Saskatchewan's defense saw the switch up coming in the second half, and kind of caught them off guard a little bit. And before a couple big plays later, Hamilton's in the lead. So, like I've always said, it's the type of quarterbacks that can move around that gives this defense problems. And Trey Ford has shown that over the years that he can have some success against this defense, and he did it again.
You look at the injury list for a lot of teams in the CFL, and everybody's banged up. We're getting to be at that point in the year, but how confident are you in the depth with the Riders receiving core? I mean, I know there was a collective gasp and holding of the breath when Keyshawn, looked like he was limping a little bit there late in the game, but what did you see in the receiving core based on, the game in Hamilton this past week?
It's going to be tough. I mean, you have basically 2 top 10 guys in the league that are out now. And, in my opinion, 2 of the best Canadian receivers in the league behind Philpott. So, I mean, that's a lot of production that you're giving up with those guys out of the lineup. And it's not easy to replace these guys, man. I mean, not only are they the better Canadian receivers, but they're some of the better receivers, period, in the league. And like I said, 2 top 10 guys in the lineup. It's a lot on Keyshawn Johnson's shoulders to kind of carry the load, and defenses can just focus on him. I don't think any of the other guys out there pose a real threat to some of these secondaries, and Hamilton showed that, we're going to make you, we're going to sit back in zone. We're going to make you take everything underneath. We're going to put you in second and long situations, and we're going to try to take the ball away from, Keyshawn Johnson and make it hard for him. He had his share of touches, but they were underneath touches, and they did a good job of not giving up the big play.
One commonality between the 2 football games that the Riders and Ticats have played against each other was Hamilton's defense was able to shut down the Riders' passing game. What did they do that didn't allow Trevor to be as effective as he has been thus far this season?
I mean, they just kept everything in front of them. They wouldn't, come up and be aggressive in order for Trevor to go over the top or have that big play. And, they just make you take those tough throws. And then you look at the addition to McManus at the middle linebacker position for Hamilton is just huge. He's one of the better coverage linebackers in the league. He's great at reading the quarterback's eyes, being able to, read the field concepts. So they just did a good job of just keeping everything in front of them, man. And it's not easy for any quarterback to just sit back there every single play, dink, dunk, take these short throws. At some point, you're going to need these chunk plays. If it's not in the run game, it has to come in the passing game at some point in time. And there just wasn't that opportunity because of situations.
Well, Darian, you do have to give credit to the Hamilton defense. You also have to give credit on the Saskatchewan side to Alex Hale, who was perfect on the night. 4 for 4, did everything that was asked of him. Given the criticism that he's received, from CFL fans as of late, what kind of performance, that kind of performance, what can it do for a guy's confidence like that?
Well, we talked about it last week, right? We talked about, either 1 or 2 things can happen. The pressure can get to him, and he won't be able to overcome it. He'll go out there and he'll just, let it go down his leg and not make a play, or it'll motivate him to be better, to focus, to make sure he's locked in on his job. And it seems like he did a great job of that. So, kudos to him so far for stepping up and making the kicks when he needed to. I think he hit his career long as well. So, kudos to him for making sure that he didn't let the pressure get the best of him so far in 1 week.
Yeah, 52-yarder, right?
Yeah.
So, Darian, Rider Nation, how concerned should they be after that loss to Hamilton?
You know what? I still don't think you should hit the panic button yet. It's a long season ahead of us. I don't think we know the status of Emulus and Schaefer Baker to see how long those guys will be out. Having AJ Ouellette back as well would definitely help this offense in this run game. So I wouldn't hit the panic button yet. If we were after Labor Day and we had these injuries piling up and guys were going to miss some significant time, then I would say for sure. But, let's just see how the next couple weeks go. It's going to be tough against BC on the road, and then should be able to get Toronto at home. But then Winnipeg back-to-back, that's going to be tough. So hopefully, these guys are healing up. They're getting in the cryo chambers, the cold tubs, everything they need to do. The 2 stars on defense and the 2-star receivers on offense, hopefully doing everything in their power to get back as soon as possible because, depth is definitely becoming a problem for the Riders.
So you brought it up, BC, this upcoming weekend. Nathan Rourke, what does the Saskatchewan defense need to do to slow him down?
I think you have to hit him. I think you have to make him uncomfortable. I think you have to put him in situations where he has quick decisions, and he's not able to sit back there and have all day to throw the ball. So we'll see how it goes. They got a big win over in Calgary. I know they're happy about what happened. You hate to see VA go down like that, but as a BC Lion and as a Lion fan, you'll take it how you can get it right now, given how the season started for these guys. So they're going to be ready to get back home, and this is going to be an exciting game for Lion fans, and it should be a good one.
I'm curious it's kind of a two-pronged question. Nathan Rourke, if you watched him last game, right, taking his helmet off, would never do it with 2 hands, would only do it with the one to get it over the shoulders, right, because the other shoulder is injured. So using his right arm, his throwing arm, to take the helmet off. And there were other little signs that I thought that maybe indicated that, yeah, well, he's not 100%, we know that, but maybe he's not quite at the level that many of us think he is. If you're A, did you see that? And B, if you're an athlete playing through an injury, like I'm sure you did throughout your career, do you worry about that? How do you get that out of your mind?
I mean, you can't worry about it. Look, this is your job. You have all week to rest up and try to as good a shape as possible injury wise. And I've had a shoulder. I've had, the toughest part about having a shoulder injury is just lifting your arm up in the air. It's not even hitting the ground or the contact or anything like that. It's just the joint. It's just some moving it and circular motion or going up and down. So, yeah, I've noticed that he's kind of a little bit, but that's just normal at this point in time, especially when you're dealing with the shoulder injury. And I don't think it'll affect him. He's got a couple weeks under his belt at this point. So he as pain tolerance goes, he's good to go. And, this is a pivotal part of the schedule for the Lions. And, I'm sure that of his injury status, he wouldn't miss this one for the world.
Yeah, both teams are going to be coming in hungry for a win this Sunday in BC. But why don't we talk quickly here about the other Rourke QB, currently south of the border, another Canadian quarterback chasing his NFL dream. I mean, he was with San Francisco in training camp, played that NFL preseason game. Sounds like he's back at practice right now. I know he went down with a bit of an issue on his rib based on reports, but what did you see in his play before he left the game?
He looked great. He looked sharp. I mean, 12 for 14 in an NFL game is amazing. It's not easy to do. And, I think he's in a great situation, to learn from Coach Shanahan and this offense. He's an offensive mastermind, in my opinion. So he couldn't be in a better spot to learn. And, with Brock Purdy and Mac Jones ahead of him, of course, playing time is it's not looking good as far as that's concerned, but learning and getting out there, showing that he can compete, he can be accurate on the pro level. He definitely did a good job of that. So CFL fans and Saskatchewan fans, I don't think you'll see him anytime soon if he can keep that up, but he definitely looked good in his debut.
Darian, how are reps distributed at training camp for quarterbacks in the NFL? Like, what would he be seeing?
Well, early on, I think he'll get more of his reps now because it's early in preseason. Usually the starters, they don't get a ton of reps until it picks up and it gets closer to the regular season. So this is his time. I think that's why he's back at practice so fast as well, and not letting this injury linger on, because he knows that the reps will get more and more limited as training camp progresses. So, but he's getting the reps now. And I think, like I said, Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, they'll get more and more of the bulk of the reps as training camp goes on. But, like I said, he's out there for a reason, because a lot of guys, you come out of the game, you get hit in the ribs. I've broken my ribs before as well. It's not easy to get back out there on that field. So for him to be out there so fast, it shows that he has a lot at stake.
So another name familiar to Saskatchewan Roughrider fans, Dante Myers. I mean, as much as we want to see him in Cincinnati, he was also great with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, even though he became a CFL free agent in February. As a Bengals fan, I'm also very biased. But what did you see from him when it came to that preseason action? I mean, he was leading the team in receptions. He's been highly spoken of by not only Joe Burrow, but other receivers. That's got to be helping out his case right now.
We all knew he was a good player. We saw what he did when he was north of the border. So I think it's a good situation for him, because behind T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they don't really have a guy. So for him to get targets in the first preseason game, lead the team in receptions, it just shows that the coaches have the confidence in him, and he's where he needs to be, and he's doing things to put himself in position to get those targets. So we'll see how it goes for him. We don't know if it's going to be a numbers game, or if he can work his way up the depth chart and be that third or fourth guy to make the roster. You just never know, man, and it's so it's just so tough to make an NFL roster, regardless of if you're coming out of college or from the CFL. It's just not easy to do, but hopefully he'll get more and more playing time as it goes with some of the guys who are going to be out there a little bit earlier, and he can show what he can do.
Joe Burrow advocated for Dante Myers, if I'm reading between the lines with his post-game comments. As the athlete, as the quarterback, can you advocate and have impact on what the roster decision may be or look like?
Absolutely. You rarely hear starting quarterbacks, let alone guys of the caliber of Joe Burrow, talk about an undrafted guy or a free agent coming in and speaking so highly of him. And like I said, a Super Bowl quarterback in Joe Burrow. He's shown that he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. So if I'm Dante Myers, I'm just smiling like crazy that I can get him to vouch for me, because whenever you do, it means something. The coaches hear it, the front office guys, they hear it when Joe Burrow speaks, and his voice definitely hold weight around that place.
So looking elsewhere around the CFL, we touched on what's ahead for the Saskatchewan Roughriders earlier in here, but maybe we should talk about the team that BC faced last week in the Calgary Stampeders. I mean, Vernon Adams Jr. goes down in that loss to BC. We also see Dedrick Mills, left the game at one point. So how confident are you in the Stamps' depth at this point?
Not really. I'm not really confident in the Stamps. I got to be honest with you. Not having VA out there. I mean, I think we see across the league, what it can be like if you're living in the backup quarterback world, and not having VA, one of the bigger arm guys. We saw the consistency he started this season with the touchdowns to interception ratio. Even though the record doesn't really show that he's having an amazing season, he really is. So it's definitely going to be tough to replace him. And with that type of hit, and when your arms lock up and you're concussed, I don't see him coming back anytime soon. I'm hoping, that I'm not speaking that into life and he can get back a lot earlier, but it didn't look good the way he was laying down there. And as long as I think Calgary is going to be in trouble.
Up the highway, Toronto-Edmonton. Was Toronto just that inconsistent and that ineffective on offense, or is Edmonton just that good?
A little bit of both. I'm not ready to a couple weeks ago, I talked about how good Edmonton showed me that and I still think they're pretty good, but Toronto is just, especially with Kelly, man, I just never know what to expect. That gunslinger mentality, it's all fun and games until you start throwing the ball to the other team, and you have so many interceptions that you're getting looked at as, can you even take care of the ball, right? I know we're looking at Chad Kelly in that way right now. Toronto just seems to find a way to stay in every game. They make big plays, but they just can't seem to close games, and a lot of that has to do with Kelly putting the ball in harm's way. So, I think that's something he'll definitely work on. the rest of the way. And I think a stat shows up for him that whenever he doesn't turn the ball over, usually Toronto wins the game. So, he definitely needs to take care of the ball. It's so precious in this game we play. You only get 2 downs. And with his big arm and his ability to make the big plays, if he could just be a little bit more cautious, I think he'll be fine in Toronto.
Before we let you go, Darian, we have to ask you about Ottawa. And I hate that we keep having this conversation every week, but now they're at 15 straight losses, man, and they're 0-9 on the season. They've got to win eventually, right?
Well, it won't be this week. I hate to say that. And I've always said this about Ryan Dinwiddie. That's my guy. Mm-hmm. And, I hate to see him going through this, but yeah, they'll win eventually. I don't think it'll be this week. We know what Montreal is doing, how they're balling right now, and how, David Sanchez, I'll say David Sanchez, I'm sorry. He's just haunting me right now. I'm thinking about the Grey Cup in 2009, how I didn't throw a touchdown on him. But with Davis Alexander and how he's running this offense in Montreal, man, they're definitely not going to win this week. So we'll maybe we can come back next week and talk about it. But it's a for sure L this week.
Can I just ask a follow-up with Ryan Dinwiddie? You said he's your guy. How come?
When Ryan came and was my backup, we just developed a bond. We just think alike. We so close off the field. We we laugh, joke together. We just see the game. I've never had a backup quarterback that I saw the game exactly the same way as him. And, a lot of other backups I had, I knew they wanted to play. They were coming in trying to take the job, and I understood that. But Ryan was the first guy I was around that accepted the role up. He knew what it was, and it was his only job was to help me. And I think that making me a little bit comfortable knowing that I wasn't in any real danger. It allowed me to develop a bond and a real friendship with him. So I think that's what started that, and ever since then we've been good to go.
Oh, and maybe I should just give you a quick update. Apparently, Luke won a board game this weekend. Just thought I'd.
Oh my gosh, he had to throw that out there, huh?
Just saying.
I can't wait to get up there this year, man. I'll be up there in October. Where I can't wait.
Well, we look forward.
We're writing
to
you in
you.
for the broadcast right now. There you go.
Yeah, it's already been booked. Come on. Darian,
I always thought about how we make it happen, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, a couple people who can get you hooked up.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time as always, Darian. Thanks for doing this, and can't wait to chat next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
That's Double Talk. Darian Durant joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Of course, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. I just want to quickly mention here, I did see a text message come in, Prairie Land Rentals text line, asking why we take joy in Ottawa's misery. We absolutely do not, and I said that right off the top of the show.
No.
In fact, it's not cool the way that people are picking at them, but we still need to talk about it. So I just wanted to set the record straight here. No one wants a team to be 0-9. In the CFL.
And I'm gonna I really think that they can give Montreal a run this week. I know Darian.
You weren't brave enough to say that to Darian Durant, but
I had other things to talk about, but I didn't want to contradict.
That's what it was.
I didn't want to contradict a Plaza of Honor
so
quarterback.
You just wait until he hangs up the phone.
No, but I think that there still is an opportunity. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. There's a chance for them to play the spoiler. And I'm very curious to see what they're going to make with some player personnel decisions down the stretch here and see how they try to grow their organization.
I'd love to see them go on a tear.
There's nowhere to go for them but up. And they don't play the Riders again this season.
So, yeah, win every other game for all I care.
There you go.
Okay.
And there's no joy.
No joy in that whatsoever.
No joy.
Join in the conversation, 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Let's take a quick break here. Coming up, Maddox Schultz of the Regina Pats is going to be talking about his time over at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup and, of course, the upcoming WHL season. This is the 620 CKRM Sportscage network that you can join us on, sportscage.com, YouTube as well. I almost had the wrong tagline there, but we are also home of the Regina Pats, I should mention.
There you go.
It's a Sportscage. We'll be back.
Bill just called. He said the Thompsons are going already.
Really?
Here I am. I'm still deciding if I should replace my openers.
Morning, gentlemen. Looking for Dave. I've got your new openers.
He brought Andrew. Time to listen.
Follow me to the farm. I'll show you how to install them so your field's ready before anyone else.
Don't wait to fall behind. Check your openers and get expert help from Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture. Precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture on farm for you.
Great coaches make great calls. And at home, you're in control of the game. Add SaskTel TV to your lineup and enjoy popular channels, including sports in stunning 4K for as low as $40 a month. So, what do you say, Coach? Ready to add in the difference maker? Visit SaskTel.com/make-the-call to learn more. Conditions apply.
Make Regina Rams football part of your family's fall traditions. Season tickets are on sale now, giving you access to all 4 Rams home games at an affordable price. Experience the energy, the excitement, and unforgettable moments of live university football while supporting student athletes from our community. This year, season ticket holders receive early entry at Leibel Field and a dedicated entrance at Mosaic Stadium. Affordable entertainment, exciting football. Get your season tickets today at cougarsandrams.com/tickets.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Kind of a quiet night here in Saskatchewan in terms of sporting events. Major League Baseball, we know the Jays are off. They just went on that 17 games and 17-day stride. They did get 12 wins in that stretch. One game back from a wild card spot. They open up a new set against Tampa Bay on the road tomorrow. Canada has qualified for the 2028 Olympics in LA on both the women's side and the men's side. Men's taking home bronze, women taking home the gold. I should also mention 10 other games on the slate in Major League Baseball tonight, and in the WNBA. Dallas is in Golden State for a tip-off shortly after 8 o'clock. That is your Sports Ticker, and it is brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. So now we're going to jump out here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline and chat with our next guest. This is Maddox Schultz, Regina Pats forward, fresh off the Hlinka Gretzky Cup and a gold medal win. Appreciate you taking the time, Maddox.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Maddox, that's got to feel pretty good. Winning a gold medal with Canada, scored a couple times, got an assist. You know, you're putting up some numbers there and a big win over the States. So when you look back at that game now, what's standing out to you most?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it was so fun in that tournament to, you know, go through it with that group of guys. And right from the start, you know, our coaching staff made it clear that our final goal was to win a gold medal. And, you know, that's what we did. And obviously beating the Americans in the final is so special. You know, they're our biggest rivals, and, you know, beating them that badly 8-1 is amazing for, you know, Canada. But, yeah, it was just a great tournament overall.
Maddox, huge compliment to you is that when you hear the coaches from that team talk, they talked about how you were a student of the game. What did you learn about yourself, your game, and the team during that tournament?
I learned a ton. Obviously, we had a great coaching staff along the way, and yeah, I think just taking pride in face-offs. I think that's one of the things that I learned a ton is, you know, from our head coach, Rhae-Ann. You know, he started putting me out there for D-zone face-offs and on the penalty kill and just 5-on-5. And, yeah, he just told me to take pride in face-offs, and it's the start of every play. So you just got to be, you know, willing to get that puck for your team. And, yeah, I think I really kind of look into that. And, yeah, like you said, student of the game, I kind of try and, you know, be the best at certain things. And winning face-offs is a huge part of the game. So, yeah, I tried to, you know, take pride in that.
You know, Maddox, we're aware that you grew up in Regina. You know, you've been to Rogers Place to watch Oilers games, and then you get to play on the ice and you win a gold medal there, so close to home. I know you're a student of the game and there was other things to be focused on, but did you actually have a moment to take a step back and think, wow, this is pretty dang cool?
I did, yeah. In the final game there, when there were so many people there in the stands on that one side, I kind of, took a second in warm-ups to kind of just admire, and it's so amazing to see all these fans in Canada come out to watch us play, and I kind of took a second there in warm-ups just to look around and kind of think of all the support that we got up the whole tournament, but especially in that final game, it was amazing to see.
Well, Maddox, I think that we're all pretty confident that the Regina Pats are going to keep you around as a 16-year-old this season. Has your preparation changed at all this summer, getting yourself set for a full Western Hockey League season?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, lifting some heavier weights because, I'm going to be playing a lot more hockey in the Dub this year. So, I think I've been working on my shot a ton at Trevor's, and Trevor works with the Pats, and he runs TS Hockey Shooting, so he's been, great for me, and I've been working with him for a long time. So he's helped me a ton, with my shots. I've been there, 6-7 times a week. I'm there all the time trying to, better my shot, and I watch hockey all the time too. So I've definitely been watching a lot more, systems and, watching certain players, Nikita Kucherov, Maxim Celebrini, some of those guys, just to, gain some information on how they play. And, it's definitely going to be a big year for the Pats and Regina. So, just trying to take that next step.
So when you look at the team and you look at your teammates, a guy that I'm sure you're well familiar with now is Liam Pugh. Obviously, the two of you have been able to develop and build a really strong connection, considering you were both playing, on the Pat Canadians and the WHL Regina Pats, and now with Team Canada. What's been making the two of you click so well?
Yeah, we've been clicking lately, and it's great to see. I think we've been playing a lot together, both in the WHL and in midget AAA. So we've definitely built a strong bond there off the ice, and then it translates on the ice with that chemistry. And it's awesome, learning from him and his hockey sense and his shot and his passing ability is so crazy, and he works on it all the time. So just to kind of watch from him, learn from him, and then kind of see where he is on the ice where I play, and then I think we work really well together, and I think it showed in the Canada tournament there.
As familiar as you are with Liam Pugh and starting to get familiar with the league and, of course, the Regina Pats organization, one unfamiliar portion, I guess, entering this season will be the new head coach in David Bell. Have you spoken with him? What's your read and take on him, and how have conversations gone with what's going to be a new look behind the bench this year?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be coached by Dave. I went for lunch with him. That was actually the first time I met him. I went with Dale Durkach and Tristan Fry and him for lunch at Olive Garden. So, we spoke there, and he had a few good stories to tell. So, I think I've been to a few dinners with him and just trying to get to know him. He's trying to get to know me and some of the other players. So, he seems like a great guy. Seems like he really knows what he's doing. I'm super excited for this next chapter, and I think he's going to be a big part of it.
You were a busy guy last hockey season, splitting your time between, the Regina Pat Canadians and the WHL Regina Pats. What did you learn about last season in the Dub with the games that you did play there that you think is going to be a big difference maker for you this season?
Yeah, great question. I think, last year playing in the Dub, I think, there was a lot of, talk around how the Pats were going to be, and obviously just drafting the first and third overall pick. So I think that was a big development year for both me and Liam. But I thought the team, bounced back really well and, eventually made playoffs. So that was a big step for us. But, I think the biggest thing I learned was probably just how fast the game is and how strong everybody is. So I think each and every night you got to be, dialed in and ready to go because, it's going to be a battle. So, I think this year we're really excited, and I think we're looking to do something special here.
I know there is a lot of excitement, obviously, building in the Queen City, some new ticketing options available when it comes to season tickets and individual game tickets that we can talk about in a bit. But when it does come to this season, Maddox, obviously, goals and assists and points, they happen, right? And to some, they seem to happen more naturally than to others, like scrubs like me who shouldn't have been on the ice ever. But in saying that, do you have goals that you've set for yourself that don't include statistics this year that you want to see improvement in your game with?
Yeah, I mentioned faceoffs earlier. I'm a centerman, so I take pride in faceoffs, D zone, O zone, anywhere on the ice. So, I think probably getting a good faceoff percentage overall in the year is a big thing for me. And, like you said, statistics, personally, I'm not really focused on. I'm focused on the team and, how we do in the league and, who we match up well against, our systems, how they match up against, someone else's system. So I think I'm more focused on how the team's doing and what the team can get better at.
There's been a lot of discussion and expectations and players that people have been comparing you to. Do you pay attention to that at all, or do you just try to tune out all of that noise?
Yeah, I think people can say whatever they want. Sometimes I know what who I compare myself to and, how I want to play. So I kind of just go out there and play and, learn from the best players and, I think it's people can say things, and I kind of just tune all of that out and kind of just focus on myself.
Maddox, Schultz, it's interesting that we see the maturity in your game, and sometimes we forget, if you can believe it, that you're 16, you're in high school, you're doing the high school typical things that a lot of kids do. It's evident that you love the sport of hockey, but do you ever take a step back and just do things that other kids your age would do?
I think, I'm on the golf course a ton and playing pickleball with friends and stuff like that. So, I think I still can be a kid. I'm 16, but, I think it's hard to step away from the game. It's my whole life. So, I think I'm trying to get better every day, 1% better. So, I think, the biggest focus for me is trying to get better every day. But, after I can kind of relax and know that I did my work, then I can go on the golf course.
I mean, hey, you got to work on that swing. It's only going to help your game. You got a favorite course around town?
I golf at the Royal, so I got a membership there. So, they've been great. Super fun to golf there.
So, you lived through the Connor Bedard era, and the reason I bring that up is I lived through it from a distance. You were here in Regina when there was that excitement night to night at the Brandt Center, and that excitement, like I say, is starting to build in the community. We mentioned the new ticket prices and the new season ticket options and the new...
And all the construction going on over there?
Food and beverage, which you probably won't get to take in. But what I'm saying is you've lived through that. How exciting is it that that buzz kind of is back?
Yeah, it's awesome. Going to games and watching Connor Bedard. And I even go back to, Sam Steele area when, it was so fun to watch him. But then, when Connor came and, seeing what he did for Regina and how there was a buzz and a hype around the rink every night, it was truly amazing. And, coming to the rink and watching him do what he did, it was, so fun to watch. And seeing what he's doing in the NHL right now is super special. So, he's definitely a role model for me and Liam both. And I bet you all the other kids in Regina would say the same. So, it's amazing to get the hype back in Regina, and, we're super looking forward to next year.
Yeah, it's hard to believe how close we are to the start of the preseason in the WHL. If I'm not mistaken, September 1st, the team will be back on the ice in their first game. So how beneficial is it that you don't need to travel for training camp?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's big benefit that I get to stay at home, and just the way the draft lottery turned out, it was amazing for our family, and it's awesome to stay at home and train here in Regina, and then go back home to my own bed and see my family. So it's super beneficial, like you said, and then obviously not having to travel to anywhere to go to training camp, and having an 8-minute drive to check in is awesome.
Is there ever a downside to that, in the fact that you're recognizable already at the age of 16, no matter where you go, there's always eyes on you seemingly, or maybe there isn't. Do you feel that? Does it add pressure being from Regina playing for the Pats?
Not at all. No, I think it's cool to be recognized, but there's only, one goal at the end of the year, and that's to win. So I hope, people recognize that, and it's awesome coming to, like I mentioned before, coming to Trevor's TS hockey shooting or going to the rink to do my work. It's super fun, but being recognized is also a cool thing. Taking pictures with kids, it's cool to kind of give back. I was on the ice this morning with my dad helping his camp, Schultz power skating. So it's awesome to give back to the community too when you see those kids around the rink.
Did you win or lose the race at the end of the practice? That's what we always used to do at power skating.
I'm out there coaching, so
still doesn't matter. I'm telling you, I put my kids into the ground when I was coaching them.
I kind of go easy on them. They're still young.
Oh, Dave, that competitive nature, hey, never ends. Well, Regina's own Maddox Schultz taking time out of his day to chat with us. We really appreciate the time, Maddox, and I guess we'll see you at the rink here shortly.
Yeah, thanks, guys, so much.
Maddox Schultz, Regina Pats forward, and of course, gold medalist at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament in Edmonton, which is pretty cool to add to the resume as well, if I do say so myself.
Well, and to perform as an underage player in that tournament, and the performance that he had, it's very special. Very
impressive, and you get to start watching him live in person in action at the Durant Center as early as, I think, is the first preseason game at home? I think the September 1st is at home.
I believe you're correct.
So get ready for that.
Have you looked at some of the cool options for the tickets this year with the Pats? I don't know if you have. So there's a new family zone this year. There's season tickets. When you purchase your season ticket or renew or buy new, you get vouchers for every game. So
food vouchers.
Yes, and there's new food
mini donuts
options. Well, there's new food options too. But again, who's going to look past the mini donuts? Let's not kid anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying.
I mean, when you can smell them.
Yeah, and then again, as Sean Semple was on the program last week, talked about, and you could hear the excitement in his voice with.
Can you hear me frantically Googling to find the new concession items?
They're not going to release that.
No,
you're not going to find. Well, maybe you will.
Google's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. Let's agree with that.
It might not be accurate.
I'm just saying you could hear when Sean Semple was on this program, and if you missed it, go to sportscage.com, find the podcast. But when he was on the program, you could hear the excitement that he has in bringing the renovations to the Real District when that all gets closed, which he hopes September 1st. It's going to be really cool. So, again, a cool project that's being undertaken, a chance to get in on it right now.
And if you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, YouTube, Curse is putting up the renderings
of Queen City Distillers.
Yeah, and it looks so cool. I also did do a quick little Google search here about the new menu items that will be available. Okay, so the Regina Pats and the Durant Center set to introduce new concession menu and facility highlights. So again, this is just an AI Google overview, so do not take this as Bible. It might not be 100% accurate, but allegedly, according to this, they are looking to feature popular items like barbecue chicken drumsticks, pulled pork, plus crispy pierogi bites, farmer sausage, barbecue Greek ribs at North and South 77. That must be the name of the restaurant that they have in the Queen City Distillers. I'm not 100% sure on that one, though.
I know that it's been very tight-lipped.
Okay. Well, this is just what Google's telling me.
Hey, you do what you do.
I mean, are people going to turn down farmer sausage and crispy pierogi bites?
No.
Exactly.
Not a chance.
I just realized how we are running out of time here, Dave, so we should probably take a break.
Food got in the way again. Way to go.
It is that time of the day. It's 5:50. I'm a hungry girl, okay? Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with your sprinkle of the day. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of the Regina Pats on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
The Roughriders season is here, and the biggest 50-50 in Saskatchewan is back. Last year's 50-50 raised over $3.3 million for amateur football in Saskatchewan, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Rider Nation. This year, we have bigger loyalty and early bird prizes than ever before, not to mention those life-changing 50-50 jackpots. See all of the prizes and buy your tickets today at riders5050.ca, and never miss a chance to win when you sign up for the 50-50 Club.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Lottery license LR260010.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in Anroyd, Kincaid, Hazenmore, Glenbane, Mankota, Furland, McCord, rural areas north and south of Pontex, south of Vanguard, and all surrounding rurals from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Tuesday, August 18th, weather permitting. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages. Sask Power apologizes for the inconvenience and thanks you for your patience.
You know how the best plans always seem to happen at the last minute? Friends stop by, the family's finally all home. Suddenly, it's pizza night with Western Pizza. Pile on the pepperoni, smoky ham, crispy bacon, and loads of melty cheese. Then make it even better with tender ribs, hearty lasagna, or delicious souvlaki on the side.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Back to Sportscage. Text 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Monday edition of the Sportscage is brought to you by Sask Today, Saskatchewan's leading online news, egg, and sports portal. We are running low on time here, but we do want to get to your sprinkle of the day. Of course, I'm Teagan Witko, joined by Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and backgammon Curtis Gammon. He's keeping us on the stream and on the air at 620 CKRM. So sprinkle of the day is for Sports Select. It's pretty easy. You just have to go to the website, sportselect.com, make your picks online, get that QR code, and then take it to your local lotto spot retailer. It's all 100% legal. You can win cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Just have to be over 18, and you need to play responsibly. We are going to look ahead to this week in the CFL, Dave, and I jokingly brought it up off air. I said we should look at the lines for the Ottawa and Alouettes game this week. You gonna sprinkle on your Red Blacks?
You do well if they win.
Exactly. And
or
you were just mentioning that you and I were both just mentioning that we do not cheer for the demise of teams. So now would be a good week to place a little bit of a sprinkle on there. I know Darian won't, but hear me out. Even if we just sprinkle a couple bucks and they manage to pull off a major win. Think about the value of that. Because right now, over under 62.5. Point spread, 12.5. Mm-hmm. And obviously, we know the Alouettes are the favorites here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, just look at the standings. It's easy to determine that. But it could be an interesting little sprinkle action if you were to lump it in with some other ones.
Yeah, well, Winnipeg, Edmonton, it's interesting that, again, Edmonton's at home, so they're the favorite automatically, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this is going to be an interesting game for Winnipeg, who can really make a statement and say, yes, we can
We're
be a factor in the West.
Yeah.
Or Edmonton can go ahead and say, yeah, we're top dog. Like, see everybody.
That's a tough one. I do think it's going to be higher scoring. I would take the over on 59.5. In Winnipeg, I think the crowd's going to be behind them.
It's in Edmonton, though.
Oh,
Keep that in mind.
Sorry, in Edmonton. Ooh. Then I'm still going to take the over at 59.5, simply because I think the Bombers are going to be coming in hungry. And I know the Elk are going to put up points. We know that already.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very interesting one. Okay, quickly, Hamilton Tiger Cats, because I know we're running out of time here. So Ticats, Argos, who you taking, Dave?
Toronto in Toronto. They played well at BMO.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so point spread, 4.5 on that one. So you're going to take them to cover?
Yep.
Okay. Riders, BC Lions, over under 62.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got Saskatchewan. No, BC's the favorite.
Yep.
What am I doing? I can't read, apparently.
BC at home, the favorite.
BC at home, the favorite. Well, that's probably because the Riders are coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
I'd still sprinkle a little bit on Saskatchewan. I'd take that action. Over, under. Do you think it's going to be higher scoring or lower scoring? I think the weather's supposed to be good in BC this week.
It's in a dome, don't matter.
Yeah, right.
I say it's always good.
Yeah, it's always great.
I'm going under 62.5, though. I think the Riders' defense bounce back. Absolutely.
Heavy passing game, heavy run game?
Passing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Nathan Rourke is patient enough to get the running game going.
Okay.
The Riders have taken the run game away. And if the Riders can, again, as Darian mentioned, produce on first down, they're going to be all right. So there could be some running game there. I know there was a lot of screen stuff that was going on in Hamilton. See if the Riders stick with that or not. Get the ball to your playmakers, right? That's what they say.
That's what they say. Well, that is all we got to say for today. By the way, sportselect.com if you want to sprinkle yourself. One last time here, I am going to mention if you would like to get in on SaskTel Pick the Score, $200 gift card tickets to the next Rider home game on the 29th against Toronto at Mosaic Stadium. You have a chance to win both of those things if you just send us in your score predictions, okay? 306-936-6262. What will be the score of the Riders against the BC Lions? Let us know, and you'll be eligible for that prize. Okay, for us, for Curtis, for Dave, for me, for everybody in this room, thank you very much for coming along for the ride. That is the Sportscage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Louis Dreyfus Company Yorkton, growing with your farm. LDC has space available this summer with very competitive basis levels and now has 4 unloading pits to get you in and out faster. Louis Dreyfus will paper blend moisture, green, and damaged. And the new driveway is open Monday to Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Call today and find out why farmers trust Louis Dreyfus Company. 1-877-782-8882 or visit ldcyorkton.com.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review